Hello, everyone. I'm Captain Logan, and this is Superhero Rewind Unscripted. It's time for part two of hopefully just two of our MCU new ranking stream. We were trying to get all of this done in one. We were clearly too ambitious with that, but we had a lot of fun conversations about a bunch of Marvel movies last time, and we're going to continue that tonight with our 20th. All the way down, hopefully, to our absolute top favorite MCU movies. Once again, these are just theatrical, and we're not ranking any of the specials or the TV shows. And Austin is here to give you his list as well. Once again, hi, Austin.
Precisely.
So taking up another rewind space for this, we'll be back to the commentary project in the not too distant future. Austin can't make it next week, so Jason and I are going to do a superhero movie commentary, but it's not going to be a regular commentary project commentary. It'll be a blind commentary because he's going to watch something he's never seen before. And Austin, Jason has picked his 5 movies, and we haven't put up the poll yet, but do you want to hear what they are?
Yeah, what are they?
I will go ahead and reveal this. I'll go ahead and tell you what the movies are, and then if you want to get to be in the vote, you have to be a Patreon producer. You have to be at the $10 tier on Patreon. Jason is gonna pay. So again, these are all superhero movies he's never seen before. He's gonna watch them on camera for the first time and comment with me there as well. He has chosen Superman 3, Catwoman, Joker, Howard the Duck, and Blade 2.
Well, I know what I want.
So by most people's metric that aren't Austin, there's one good movie on that list. He said he was going to try to mix it up and have some good movies and bad movies. He picked a almost objectively, like most people really like it, good movie with Blade 2, and then everything else, box office bombs and notorious movies.
Well, I actually think he found somehow, because you have 5 picks there, right?
Yeah.
You have 5 picks. He somehow did the impossible and managed to get it exactly split down the middle, half good, half bad. Because you have Catwoman and Joker on the bad side. On the good side, you have Blade 2 and Howard the Duck.
If you're Austin.
And then Superman 3 is a movie where half of it is really good with the Christopher Reeve stuff, and half of it is god-awful with the Richard Pryor stuff. So somehow he found a way to be exactly half.
And see, I'm not with you there. I think he's got one good movie, one enjoyable and fun to watch bad movie, and then Superman 3, which is not the big bag to me that it is to you. I think that movie is just bad, but Christopher Reeve is there and doing some good things in it, and it's got like one really good scene.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's got a couple good scenes with him. Like some of the stuff in Smallville is
that's true.
Is nice.
That's true.
Yeah, and then like I think most of the stuff with Christopher Reeve, he at least elevates.
Yeah.
If it's not outright good, like it's not 1 and 2 or even 4, but like I don't know, some of the like most of the stuff with him is good.
I just wish Jason had never seen 4 because I think it would have been so much fun to on camera watch him see that for the first time.
Oh sure. Superman 4 is great.
Anyway, thanks for joining us live. Thanks for watching after the fact if you're doing that. And comment while you're watching, and we'll try to interact with you a little bit. That's why we like to do these as live streams. And tell us if we're crazy or if you're with us on some of our picks. One of the reasons it's fun to do these with Austin is we always have really different lists. And if you don't line up with one of us, you might line up with the other one, or you might have a completely very different third list that's also real likely. Austin, we are at number 20. My 21 was Fantastic Four First Steps, and we talked
Mine was Ant-Man.
Pretty at length about First Steps because you hadn't really talked about it on the channel much. And then I don't know if you had said your 20 yet. If you did you say Ant-Man already, or you just now telling us that?
No, 21 was Ant-Man.
21. Pardon me.
I did. Oh, you're okay. I did say what my 20 was last time, just because I think you were 22 was my 20, so I was like, yeah, I'll just throw out that's my 20.
So close. Remind me.
It's Thor.
That's Thor. Okay, yeah, my 23 was Thor.
Yeah, and for people who are just tuning in and haven't had a chance to watch part one, A, why are you coming into a part two?
Well,
But
because
B,
we're
just
live
as a
and they just
refresher.
like us. They just want to hang out with us, Austin. We're all friends here.
Uh, but as a refresher, we're talking about the movies when Kat mentions them, just to like
That's so.
speed things up a little bit.
Thanks for reminding us. Yeah. In case there are people watching live right now that weren't here the first time, because I do think we'll be able to knock this out in just one more video. Let's just really fast mention the 37s to 20. Go ahead and read yours off real quick.
Yeah, okay. So 37, Captain Marvel. 36, Captain America 4. 35 is Ant-Man Quantumania, or Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. 34 is The Marvels. 33 is Thor Love and Thor. 32 is Thor Ragnarok. 31 is Fantastic Four First Steps. 30 is Shang-Chi. 29 is Eternals. 28 is Ant-Man and the Wasp. 27 is Age of Ultron. 26 is Deadpool and Wolverine. 25 is No Way Home. 24 is Thor the Dark World. 23 is Black Panther. 22 is Wakanda Forever. 21 is Ant-Man. And now 20 is Thor.
So again, we're gonna have really different lists. So we have a few things that are pretty close. I was surprised that our Thors are as close together as they are, because I thought you would have that even a little bit higher than me. Although now that I'm looking at this, I'm surprised I have it even as high as I have it. I guess.
Well, there's
I'm not
a
like the
couple
biggest
movies
fan
where
of
we're...
that, but then I'm like, Turtles isn't great, and pretty uneven, and Black Widow was so kind of nothing to me, and so just the list goes on.
And there's been a couple movies where we're like 2 or 3 off. So it's not like we're super far off.
But then you got stuff like Dark World, where I had it third to last, and you've got it.
And I complained, even though I don't like love that movie or anything.
Yeah, what number did you have it at?
24.
Yeah, and 23, I've got Thor. I mean, we had it like 12, 13 away from each other. My list...
Yeah, I think that's the biggest gap. That probably will be the biggest gap.
Well, I'm looking at the... Yeah, no, you're right. Wakanda Forever was
Black Panther might be
bit of a gap. I mean, I don't want to give too much away. Where did you put Black Panther? It was crazy low on your list. I shouldn't say that's not fair. It wasn't crazy low.
It's not crazy low. It's more in the middle.
I don't know why I remembered it being a lot lower than that. No, that's respectable, given that I know you really are not the biggest fan of that movie. I will say I have it much higher, but of course you would expect that.
Yeah,
because
no, of course.
I have retained my love for that movie over the years, and so far you've not deterred me on it too hard. Like, I understand your complaints, I just don't share a lot of them, or they're not a big enough deal for it to really move the needle. But we've also not done the commentary together yet, so that'll be interesting to talk about that one together. Because Wonder Woman, I have moved on a little bit. Like, you really don't like that movie. I used to put that as at least like top 10 of the last decade, and I don't know if I would have it there now, or at least it'd be like 10 of 10.
Yeah, for sure.
If it was there. My 37 is Brave New World. 36, Thor Ragnarok, and then it's Dark World, Love and Thunder, Quantumania. 32 is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Then it's Shang-Chi, Captain Marvel, No Way Home. 28 is Wakanda Forever. And then it's Iron Man 2, Black Widow, The Marvels. 24 is Eternals, Thor, Ant-Man, and again 21 is Fantastic Four First Steps. And now let's find out what Austin's number 20 is. And he'll just say it, and then we'll talk about whatever my next one is. Go ahead, sir.
It's Thor.
Thor. Okay. And I'm sorry, you just said that.
That's okay.
My 20. I was trying to run with the next thing. That would have been really great structure if we hadn't had a conversation 5 minutes ago I forgot about. My number 20 is Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, have we heard Far From Home from you yet?
No, and won't for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Because I do like
You've
that
got
movie
a little
more
bit
than
higher. I've turned on it quite a bit. I liked it okay in the theater. I have always felt like it's. I'm going to try not to go too long on stuff you guys have heard a lot before, but my biggest issue with Far From Home has always been twofold. I've always felt like it's too slight of a second entry where I don't want what feels like kind of a side quest movie when we've got a real young actor playing Peter Parker in high school, where in a perfect world that'd be a TV show in the first place, and you only get to do these things every so often, and nothing super important of consequence happens until the very, very end of the movie, and I felt like it was just a little bit of a waste as far as character progression goes with him. The villain is wonderful. And his relationship with MJ is charming and really well written. Like, there's a lot of fun stuff in that movie, but my second issue with it was always the MCU humor, and that gets worse on every viewing for me. So I've been pretty rough on it the last few times I've seen it.
So I definitely agree with MCU humor. There's quite a bit of it in Far From Home, where I think Homecoming, and I mean you can tell because there's like 8 writers on that movie. Homecoming is a movie that I feel like Marvel and Sony just like picked at like for a while until they were like, okay, this is ready. While Far From Home does not have that, and there is just kind of that annoying like MCU humor where it's like we didn't oil or like chisel that out in places where it goes on a little bit too much. I like the like side quest aspect of it. I think especially because, and I mean, you get this in Homecoming where he goes to Washington, but I do like that we have some sort of adaptation that does capture that kind of classic Spider-Man thing in Stan Lee, where like every now and then he would just go somewhere, like he goes to like Atlanta to fight Doc Ock, to Florida to fight the Lizard. So like I do like that we have that aspect. I also think exactly where we were at that point is kind of the right time to have the like I'm not really sure what I'm doing with myself. Like I want to have my personal side, and like I'm not so sure about like what I want to do with like the Spider-Man side right now. And I think having him be out of his element literally on vacation, I think also kind of helps with that. My only thing in terms of just overall building Spider-Man in the MCU is Aunt May. It's one letter off. It's easy to make that slip up when you're talking fast. Aunt May should have been a what's it called, like a parent liaison on the trip.
Yes,
Where
because
it's
she
like
hasn't gotten to
that's
do
always been my
anything in those
biggest issue.
movies.
Yeah, that's always been my biggest thing.
Spoilers,
Is she
but
should
her
have
main
been there.
function now has been to die.
Yes.
I mean, that's
yes,
it.
Exactly.
She hasn't got, like, all we've done with her is cutesy, sitcom-y relationship stuff with Happy Hogan. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. No, as well, because I like her in Homecoming, and then everything we do with her starting in Far From Home sucks. And I'm like, okay.
And to your point, no, I really like your idea
unfortunate.
about having her go on the field trip as one of the parent guides, because
Yeah.
you have, like, the closest thing to a major cliffhanger at the end of the first movie is she finds out that he's Spider-Man. What the F?
And we don't deal with that like at all.
No, we don't deal with it. It's just the next movie. It's kind of status quo now. It's just she's cool with it. We're just going with it. That's it.
And that is obviously, an aspect where the MCU can really hurt these things, where we can't just go right off of that that cliffhanger. Like Guardians was able to get away with that, where 2 is right after the first movie.
Yeah, the problem is
But
we have
with
2
Spider-Man,
Avengers
it's
movies
so-
in between. We've already
And it's so
seen,
locked into the MCU. Yeah,
we've already seen him twice more since then. I think it's easy to kind of forget about that. And we've seen him die since then. And Far From Home is the first movie post Endgame.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
it's
exactly.
so it's trapped in that lore where it has to deal a little bit with the 5 years later thing, and it's not doing as much with it as I want the MCU overall to do, of course. Because I always wanted that explored in a way that the movies didn't. The TV side a little bit more. I think WandaVision is probably the MVP when it comes to dealing with the aftermath of the blip.
Yeah, for sure. And what was I gonna say off of that? Yeah, and just like its place in the MCU too, I think it makes sense that it's like kind of epilogue-y. So like it also works for me in that way. But no, I also just Mysterio is my favorite Spider-Man villain. He in that movie is not what I would do with a Mysterio, but I really like what they do with him, and they win me over on it.
It's really great
Um,
casting, and I didn't call what was happening, and I actually thought there was a chance he was sort of a good guy for a minute. Like I bought into some of that.
yeah,
The
and I think it's kind of genius that we have both the Mysterio costume that is like the fake part of it, and then his real costume is like a mocap suit, but it still has like the Mysterio eyes on it. Like all of that stuff's really neat.
That's the thing that really elevates it for me. And keep in mind, like I do have it in my top 20. Like I obviously don't hate this movie. Like it doesn't quite make the halfway point, but we're now in the place where every movie I'm gonna call a decent movie. I
For sure, for sure.
like I
And
will
this,
I kind of oversell, to be fair. I don't like Far From Home because I'm
yeah,
comparing it to Homecoming, which I think is the best
sure,
live action Spider-Man movie we've ever had, and I think Far From Home in
100%.
a lot of ways is a big step down. So if we're talking about the grander MCU, it's better than most of Phase 4 and 5.
Yeah, well, and I think too, like, and especially with the MCU
Which is
humor aspects,
reflected in
this is
my
a big part
list,
of
by
it.
the way.
Yeah. I think Far From Home is just kind of bloated through, I'd say the first half, and then once we get that big Mysterio scene, I think it like really kicks into gear, and I really
Yeah.
like everything after that. But everything before that, I'm more mixed on. It's just that once we finally get into something, I really dig it. So like that also helps for me.
The nightmare scene is so good.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Or whatever you want to
It's
call it. And
fantastic. I think
the climactic battle is pretty good.
I I think it has one of the best climaxes in the MCU. I really like the climax in Far From
I
Home.
am curious to see
Uh,
where you put it on your list. Then we're talking too much about this. Let's go to your 19 if we can.
yeah. Well, yeah. The last thing I'll throw
Oh,
at
I'm sorry. Go
with
ahead.
that
Go
is
ahead.
just that. No, it's
I'm
okay.
trying to keep things moving a little bit. I'm worried about going 10 minutes a piece on these.
I just had like one last thing, and then yeah, we'll move on. But some of the stuff with the other kids and like the castle or whatever in the climax isn't great, but everything with Spider-Man and Mysterio is great. My
Yeah.
number 19 is the Incredible Hulk.
Okay. Cool. I will just say then we'll talk about it when we get there here in a minute. But we have that very close. My 18 is Incredible Hulk, and I'm actually kind of surprised
Oh, okay.
I have it higher than you have it. I thought there was a chance you'd have it more like 15, 14.
Yeah, I actually assumed we would be pretty close on that, so that doesn't surprise me. But yeah,
Uh,
I
my
also
ni-
thought I'd be higher.
my 19, and of course this will be one where you and I have a giant discrepancy. I forget where you put it because we have to have had it with you already, and you already said yours down, but I just don't remember where you put it.
Yeah,
But my 19 is Age of Ultron, which I like quite a
that
bit.
was my 27.
27, okay, which I like quite a bit more than you do. But I still think it's deeply flawed. My biggest issue with Age of Ultron has always been that it's always funny when we make these lists because it's like, at what point do we start talking mostly positives as opposed to negatives? But my biggest issue with Age of
Yeah,
Ultron has always been just how truncated that story is and how it feels too packed, and it feels like a whole season of television all thrown into a couple of hours. I always felt like Whedon was really off base in trying to force that to be the same length as the first movie. I think it needed more breathing room, but I like a lot of things thematically in it, and I had even more of an appreciation about it with it writing about it. I felt like there were a lot of interesting ideas in it.
yeah, for sure. No, I mean I agree with like I think it's well I've always said that Age of Ultron to me is the prototype for what would be his cut of Justice League, where a lot of those issues, not to the same degree, but I feel a lot of those issues where like it feels very um, just kind of bloated in with the characters like not really sure how to give all of them enough screen time. It's trying like too hard to be Was it like 2 hours? I think it's maybe a little bit longer than 2 hours, but it's not by much with Age of Ultron. I also really don't like Whedon's take on Ultron, and his
Yeah.
humor really gets in the way for me in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I know it does. That's never bothered me so much. Ultron's also a character that you had more interest in and that I didn't know hardly anything about, so it was easier to for me to just look at it as its own thing in the first place.
hmm No, and I think that's fair because my thing too isn't even just like it's different from the comics. My issue with Ultron in that movie is just that he's Whedon snark like personified, and I'm like, I don't like
Okay.
that aspect of it.
And see, I always, and we don't have to have this fight again right here, but I've always
Yeah,
seen
no,
it
of
more
course.
as
When
like
you like
Tony.
Whedon more than I do.
Right, there's that too. But like I've always seen Ultron as more like Tony Stark's ego and Stark personified, Snark personified. His Stark's snark, and I get why you feel like that's not established well enough, and it doesn't feel like actually Tony Stark. But I, I always bought that well enough. I also think the introduction of Vision is really good. That's the thing I've always
Yeah.
really appreciated with that.
Uh, no, Vision genuinely is good in that movie. That might be the best. Well, it's hard to say it's the best place for Vision because it's like I like one scene with him a lot, and he doesn't have like a ton to do, but he also doesn't
Yeah,
get much to do after that movie. So like it might be
until
my favorite.
WandaVision. I like
Yeah,
I like him fine
sure.
in Civil War, but you're right, he doesn't get like a ton to do.
Well, and Vision's one of those characters where I always like him, but it's not like he gets like a ton to do. You know, he's one of those characters.
I will always cry foul on the Quicksilver death. I've never liked the way that was handled.
Oh, it's really bad.
That's
It's really bad. But I
that's
also
kind of
don't like
rough.
Quicksilver in that movie at the same time.
I mean, I don't really either. Like I'm with you there, but I like the team dynamic. Okay, I like the status quo of the Avengers are real established now, and they've been going on some missions. I wish this is not that movie or Whedon's fault, but I wish we could have gotten one or two more of those before we went on to uh, big giant event with everybody you've ever heard of, whether they're an Avenger or not. When we
Mhm.
get to Infinity War. Like we needed one or two
Well,
more of those.
especially because Age of Ultron is very much like a disassembling the Avengers thing, where
Yeah,
by the
that's
end
true
of that
too.
we're gonna
Yeah,
have a new
Hulk runs
team.
off, and yeah,
Yeah, well, it is that point in the original. I think it's still Stanley writing at the time, where like Iron Man and Thor and Hulk are all gone, and Cap has to put together his new team. So like we are doing that, but yeah, I do like that it is the only Avengers film where they are just a team that exists. I really wish we got more of that.
Nicholas Boda says Ultron should have been a lot scarier. That's fair. I feel like Whedon's going for a juxtaposition of he's real jovial and he doesn't have any respect for humanity and thinks they should be replaced and all of that. And so what's supposed to be scary about him is he'll just real willy nilly like take a guy's arm off without even thinking about it, that kind of thing. So I get why on paper he's scary.
Yeah, well, I think if it
It
was
kind of
more in
has
that
that
line,
Bane. It kind of has that Rises Bane thing. Like he's always talking with
in
an
what way?
upswing, and I've always seen Rises Bane as a character that kind of because he's trying to lull you into a false sense of security, and it's that idea that like of negative hope that he talks with this real positive kind of upswing, but everything he does is real messed up and scary, and so like there's a juxtaposition between those.
Yeah, I mean, I like some of that stuff. And I do like Spader. I think Spader's a good choice and does a good job. It's just I don't like everything he's given. It's more when you get stuff like, he's talking about how we always build the things that, break us, and he'll be like, humans create. What are they called? Little humans? Children. Haha, I remember the word now. It's more like that line of it where it's
Oh, okay.
like, and like the way he gets taken out as he's flying away, and Hulk jumps into his ship and he goes, "Oh, come on!" And then he gets thrown out of the ship. And it's like, we beat Loki as a joke in the first movie. Why did we have to do it again in the second one
That's
with
fair.
Ultron?
And I can see why you're. I just think you're more sensitive to it than I am. Like it's more of a matter of
Mhm.
degrees, right? Like, and I'm used to
Yeah.
that with Whedon, so I'm not gonna disagree with, if you're saying that his Marvel villains kind of feel like the same kind of villains he's writing in like a Buffy or something. That's fair.
Yeah, when I'm not a fan of how he writes villains either, like where he does like a lot of that, especially like the subversive hat. I bet you didn't think that they'd take him out that way. And it's like, okay, but that's not funny. Like it just, now your villain has no threat.
And
And
it
I'm like,
becomes
I
a
don't
formula.
care.
You should be kind of like waiting around for
Yeah.
just a thing that because it's all. It's funny because it never bothers me in the moment, but now that we're talking about it, I see what you're talking about because it's
Yeah.
sort of like a version of a Deus Ex Machina, where if you do it as a gag, it's like he's trying to come up with the most like surprising, jokey, goofy way to take a character out. And
Mhm.
it might as well be somebody comes out of nowhere that you weren't expecting and takes a character out.
Mhm. Yeah, another really bad one with Ultron is when he's like, haha, I'm bringing in my army and we're going to we're gonna kill you, and then they beat him, and there's that shot where it's Iron Man, Thor, and Vision all kind of blasting him at the same time, and they stop and he goes, on second thought, and then he gets like hit away, and it's like, no, like why are you throwing in that gag? Like, come on now.
Yeah, I think sometimes your villain can kind of be your comic relief or have levity in it. You and I have talked about
Yeah.
examples in other movies where that's worked out well. You and I both have always liked that with Lex in the Donner Superman movie. Like that has worked in things. But I
100%.
see
It's, you gotta
your complaint with
know.
that. I think with me, it's always part of the package with Whedon, so I don't think about it.
For sure, for
I
sure.
guess that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to know where that balance is. Like Superman doesn't stop Lex, and then Lex is like, Superman, now that you beat me, I see the error of my ways.
No, he's got two
It's like,
sides.
he's got two sides, and he will like click in and become a Bond villain when he needs to, and then he can be goofier in scenes where it's just him and his henchmen.
And that's a
Uh,
juxtaposition that kind of works because it's a little
yeah,
bit less predictable.
yeah, exactly,
Anyway,
exactly.
so
Yeah,
I
we're spending a lot of time on Ultron,
so I have
but
Ultron not super low,
no, that's
but
a respectable spot though.
it's not real high either. That made sense to me. I think I still do like it a smidge more than Far From Home.
Mhm. Well, there's a lot of people I know that really love it. Like, there's a
Yeah,
couple people in the chat that were like, that's top three for me, and
yeah, I've
like,
seen
fair
that too.
enough. Obviously, nothing against you.
Sure, and I've always liked. Well, we should move on. I was just gonna say I've always liked stuff like Captain America talking about like whether the elevator is worthy with the hammer and stuff like that. Like there's some nice banter in there.
Yeah, I don't know. That to me is like too much of that kind of humor stuff. I don't like where I don't see the characters in that moment. I see like kind of fanboy talking, where I'm like, it kind of takes
Okay,
me out. But
that
that's
sounds
fair.
that sounds to you like if Kevin Smith wrote it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Or Reddit.
what is your 18?
My number 18 is Endgame.
Okay, I guess I don't know where I thought you would have Endgame. Now, is that a movie that
Yeah.
for you keeps kind of dropping? Where like it was a lot better when you first saw it, or do you feel like you're in about the same place with it? Oh, I'm sorry, we weren't supposed to talk about it until we get to me, but I'll ask you that question real quick.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You can ask me that now. I guess probably somewhere in the middle, where it's like the stuff I do like about it hasn't really dropped, but like, yeah, I think we all felt, like a high in that moment. Uh, but as I always say, like the Avengers movies are built for that. Like they are built for in the moment. Like, this is the event. Here we go.
Okay, so now that I'm remembering how the rules for this work, my 18, like I said, is Incredible Hulk, so we can talk about
Hmm.
that for just a minute. That's a movie, as I've said before, that I never think to go back and watch. Like, it's not a movie that I love or get excited about looking at again. And then when I see it, I always really respect it.
Yeah. So I think like a little, maybe like right before we did the top 100, I rewatched Iron Man and then I rewatched Incredible Hulk, and I had like one of the best viewings I've had of Iron Man in years,
Wow.
and one of the worst viewings I've ever had of Incredible Hulk.
Interesting.
Uh, yeah, where I was like, oh, okay, like I'm seeing a lot more of the rough edges in this film, and
Can I ask you a question?
yeah,
A crazy question.
yeah,
When we did Ang Lee, did that hurt it at all?
no,
Okay.
no, not
Okay.
really. They're doing different things.
They are. I
Um,
think the tone of Incredible Hulk is kind of perfect for a Hulk movie.
Yeah, so at the same time, and I think I said this when we did the rewind for Hulk. I think the biggest thing that hurt that character in terms of the movies we had is they should have been flipped. Where the big action movie should have been the first one, and the more thoughtful one should have been the 2008 movie, where it's like right in that period,
Absolutely.
where it's like Hulk coming out first and people, not really caring for it, hurt Incredible Hulk because they weren't willing to go to some of those places
That's right.
and wanted to make more of a dumb action movie. And yeah, like if we could have flipped those in some way, I think we would have been better for that character.
They had the
But
right cast for the more kind of cerebral take.
yeah, no, and
You could say that
Edward
with
Norton's
both of
great.
them, I guess, but
Definitely, yeah, definitely. I mean, Norton's one of those guys where that's kind of the like caliber of thing that you think of for him.
yeah.
So yeah,
And I do think Liv
100%.
Tyler's really good in it. And I never really
Yeah,
cared for the actress before that, but I thought she really stepped up and was totally right for that role. And it's kind of sad that she never came back.
yeah, for sure. Well, I know. I think one of the biggest issues too is I know Norton was fighting for that more psychological stuff. And I know they shot parts of that.
Yeah.
Like I think that original teaser is just like him talking to Doc Samson, and like that's not anywhere in that
Oh,
movie.
weird.
But I want to say that was like the first bit of footage we got of that movie.
Maybe I knew that at some point, but I'm not remembering it right now. Weird.
Hmm. But the big things I like about Hulk is that when Hulk is on screen, it is so cool and awesome, and then just all of the human stuff is just kind of whatever. But
Sure.
like Hulk is so like loud and like big in that movie.
He's got a lot
And
of presence. He's
got a lot of
legitimately a
presence.
big, scary kind of monster that you can, in
Yeah.
moments, feel for. There's that one scene with. It's been forever since I've seen it, so
Yeah.
hopefully I remember this right. But I think there's a scene with him and Betty. Around a cave or something, where, like, it's raining, and I remember that being
Yes.
a really emotional, heartfelt kind of moment where you can really feel for the
Mhm.
monster right then. But when he's
Yeah.
when he's uncontrollable, he's legitimately a force.
Yeah, exactly. And Abomination's design is not good, but
That
the
act is
end fight
good.
with them is really cool. Yeah. Yeah, and Tim Roth is great.
He's really good in it. Like I said, I just think atmosphere and tone is spot on in that. However you feel about that script.
For sure. No, I agree completely.
Like, it feels like the TV show plus the comic action of, like, the of the 70s and the 80s of like the Peter
Yeah.
David era.
No, I think what hurt me on that last viewing was just realizing that it is a good movie that could have been a great movie.
Yeah, absolutely. But what makes it kind of impressive going back to it now, and I think I said that weird. What makes it impressive going back to it now is that it was their second movie.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I think I give it a lot of grace because of that.
Hmm. Well, and I mentioned last time with Thor, like I always say you can tell which characters Feige doesn't really care about, and Hulk is definitely one of them. But I do feel like they were trying to come together for a good Hulk movie there, and then just kind of after that, never really rose up to that occasion anymore.
John Kelling says it's sad she never came back. Captain America Brave New World. She's got a cameo, but I mean, she hasn't been a like major character. Like I realize she showed up for 5 seconds in that, but like.
They probably shot her bit in her house with no other actor.
Now, to be fair, when I said that, I had forgotten that had happened, which sort of just proves my point. It doesn't really matter that happened.
Yeah, no, not at all. Well, and
there's
it's
no
weird 'cause
reason
she only interacts with Harrison
Ford. And it's impossible to believe that we'll ever see her again. I mean, like that was just oh cool. She's been mentioned this whole movie, and now we get to see her one last time. There's no way they ever bring her back. Or I shouldn't say no way. You never know what's gonna happen, but that I don't trust it. Nor do I trust that I'll care when it happens. Especially because, like, do I really care about trying to see any kind of chemistry happen between her and what's his face, like the Ruffalo, yeah, the current Hulk. Like, not really. You would never have cast them together.
No, that's the thing is, especially now, like it's just funny in my head trying to think of Ruffalo, Liv Tyler, and Harrison Ford all in one scene together, and like to act like these are characters with history that we've seen. But it's like I can't do it. I can't think of it.
We live in an unfortunate timeline with the MCU in a lot of ways. Let's get to your 17 if we can.
My 17 is Black Widow,
which we already talked about.
Yep.
And you've got a lot higher than I do. I had it at 26. I am really surprised you have it that high, especially given that we already talked about how you seem almost lukewarm on it the same way I am, but I guess it's higher just because there's other things you dislike more.
Well, no, like I do probably like that movie more than you do. Okay. I think it's more just when we're still in my lukewarm period.
Sure,
but I don't know. It's fine.
We're almost past mine, like full past mine.
Oh, okay, we're getting out of mine.
Yeah,
but
because Incredible Hulk, I think, is a solid movie. I would put it at the upper end of lukewarm in that I never think to put it in. Like, I don't get excited about that movie. Age of Ultron, I like more than you do, but like I never go back to it. 17 for me is Doctor Strange.
Oh, okay, cool.
I figure you being the Strange fan you are, you probably have it a lot higher. We'll see where you ended up putting that. It's probably in your top 10. Maybe it's not. I guess we'll see. But we can talk about it now. There's a lot of really cool visual stuff going on in that movie. Ultimately, I end up liking the casting. I was a little bit skeptical of it initially. And I don't know. What's my favorite stuff with that? I like that they...
Dormammu.
Yeah, of course. Dormammu's wonderful. And you know what's really sad to say? Because we already had the Galactus had no gravitas conversation. I said that he's the closest thing we'll get to a Galactus. And I kind of still stand by that. Like, even though we did get Galactus.
You know what the saddest part about that is?
It's sad to say that, but I feel that way about it. Yeah.
It's that I love Dormammu in that movie, but it is also a little awkward in that it should have been Tony Todd, and we ended up with like the lesser version of it.
Yeah.
So the lesser version of that is also the better Galactus.
It's still the better
That's
Galactus.
A little unfortunate.
Yeah, no, it really is. But there's
he looks amazing, and like the rippling, it's so cool.
What's frustrating about Doctor Strange is that there's simultaneously a lot of really creative stuff in that movie, and I still wanted it to be weirder. And it starts to, in the third act, show you how weird it might get, and you're getting kind of a good peek at the what could unfold as the real wild out there magic universe of Doctor Strange, which I think personally the sequel did deliver on decently well. Even if not enough of it maybe comes from the other like magic dimensions and stuff. Like, it's kind of more about the multiverse than it is about the actual incantation Doctor Strangey stuff. So like the effect of the pocket dimensions and stuff is really neat, and I like that it goes as far as to have the astral projection and all of that. But I wish he was giving actual incantations, and
Yeah.
I think some of the I what I want to say, some of the lore, the rules, a little half baked. I've never liked the idea that he's got to have. I never liked the sling ring idea. I never liked that you had to have a thing that opens other dimensions, and if you or that lets you do portals, and then if you lose it, you're just sunk. Like, that's very strange. Because it feels like we're being a little bit ambiguous as to what things we can do with just a spell and what things you have to have an artifact to do. And I guess the comics maybe have that a little bit too, to be fair, with like the Eye of Agamotto and that sort of thing. But it seems a little bit plot devicey, where it's like, well, we got to make it harder to do fast travel, so you've got this device that does that. And things like that were always kind of weird to me. But I don't know how you feel about that.
I'm fine with that, because it is like a complicated thing where it's like, okay, you have to have some sort of rules around that, otherwise, it's like easy to break your world in that way. And the kind of portal thing he does throughout the MCU isn't really something he does in the comics, at least the stuff I've read. So I'm like,
okay,
like that's already something that he doesn't really do. Like Doctor Strange will like take a plane to get somewhere.
Oh, really?
So, like, I don't know.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so like it doesn't really bother me in that way.
I mean, you and I have reviewed some early Doctor Strange, but I'm not in the moment remembering how exactly he got around. So
yeah, it's like that doesn't really bother me.
Okay.
My big thing with that first movie is I just think it's a really good, just adaptation and modernization of the old Ditko stuff. And you're right, you could definitely go weirder. But I also think as a first movie, you're setting yourself in a place where you can get weirder in the same way that Iron Man's tech gets much more advanced, and we get to see that like progress as the MCU goes on. So I've always taken it as that's okay for the first movie, because we get to keep seeing that move forward. And I do think they have done like a pretty good job with that, I would say. Like, with each movie, he kind of does different things that we haven't seen him do, that's like maybe like a little weirder, like in Infinity War. He uses like the crimson bands of Sidorak and things like that. There's like that bit in the second movie where he like shoots the purple lion head out.
That was cool.
Like, yeah, so it's like I'm more fine with that in the first movie. It is weird that we didn't just make Mordo the villain and have basically comic book Mordo, but he's Caecilius.
The Caecilius thing is
strange.
A little bit of a lame villain.
Yeah, like in terms of their lame villains, like I think he's on the upper echelon.
I mean, I agree with that, but you got Mordo right there, and I guess you could make the same.
Just kind of wasted that actor, Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes, but here's what's funny about it, if I may, Austin. I'm going to argue with you for a second because
do it.
I think you're only saying that like in the it's backwards from what you just said about the weirdness and the magic. If Doctor Strange 2 and the other Avengers movies didn't do enough with that stuff, you'd maybe be crying foul on it in the first movie. We didn't do anything with Mordo in the sequel. And if we had, you might look at we had like a doppelganger from another universe, but we didn't do anything with the current one. I can't remember. Didn't we just kill him off real fast? Or I forget now.
With that doppelganger one, no, he fights him, but he doesn't die.
But anyway, if he had been the main villain of the second one, and we'd done like some cool character study with him, I feel like you'd probably be making the same argument you're making about the magic, where like the first movie is just setting it up and getting us into it, and the first movie with Mordo gives us his point of view, his ideology, his motivation, and then he's real set up to be a great villain in the sequel. And so the real problem is that we just never did that.
No, that's fair too. I think it's just the matter of like Caecilius is just kind of Mordo in a way.
Yeah.
So like it's a weird thing with that.
Because I give the possibly hot take for Doctor Strange fans, because I'm not a Doctor Strange person, so I have no dog in this, but with what little you've had me read, because I've only read any Doctor Strange because you've had us do it on camera. I could never get into that character by himself. And what we read was interesting. It was homework for me. It's not a thing I would just sit down and read. And with respect, I know it's one of your favorite things. It's just I'm not a big fantasy guy and occult and all of that. But with what I've read of the early Doctor Strange stuff, I like movie Mordo more than comic Mordo. Because he just seems more complex and a better foil for Doctor Strange, and I like his irritation with the Ancient Ones seeming hypocrisy, and like I like the way he gets to his villainy, and so I think it was maybe worth having a movie explore that and get him to that place. It just sucks that we didn't get to see him be full on awful after that when he's like he's all about the natural order, but he still goes to the dark side.
Well, the big thing that I like about movie Mordo in that way is because obviously you're adapting, from like 8-page stories back in the day. So we take Mordo, who's just like, haha, I want to be like the best and most powerful sorcerer. I'm gonna kill all these other sorcerers because I'm the most powerful one. And we took that and like did a thing with it where he still has the same motivation at the end of the day, but it's for a different reason, where it's like, all the sorcerers are, messing with the natural order. I'm going to kill all of them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we leave
and
them
I just think that's more compelling.
So, well, I just think that's a cool update. Yeah, 100%. So you're right about that. Also,
because like you see his point of view, and I think that's not to get real hard into this, but like I think that's a more creative and believable and thoughtful update than what we did with Thanos in making me in trying to make me see his perspective and find him sympathetic. And that works. That kind of thing works a lot better with something like Mordo.
Sure. Also, my last thing on Doctor Strange is just I think Tilda Swinton does a good job, but it is really awkward that we basically just didn't make the Ancient One a Tibetan monk, because that's like right when we start getting into like the do things to get the Chinese market more interested in your movie. Not right when, because Iron Man 3 does some of that, but I do think that's unfortunate.
I think it's about that, and it's also about just not rocking the political correctness boat too much. The director's commentary is interesting about that, because he says you're real damned if you do and damned if you don't with that, in trying not to offend people. Like he comes right out and talks about that, where he's like, if you make it the male Tibetan monk, then you get accused of being stereotyping. But if you change it to a white person, now you're whitewashing. So like, what in the world do you do? So it seemed like they were splitting the middle, and they went, well, we'll make it a woman so that we can, in my opinion, kind of score points in that direction. Well, at least there's fewer men, and you don't have enough women in these kinds of movies, so we got a woman now. And I feel like that's why they did that. It's like we'll pivot to this other thing in order to, and it didn't make anybody happy, but her performance is really good. And so,
she is really good.
Or I should say, it didn't make anybody happy that was going to look for things to be offended about.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like the choice either, but I'm won over as much as I possibly can be.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because she's really good. And her scene in Infinity War is really good. Or is it Endgame? Endgame.
Yeah. It's Endgame.
Yeah.
Well, her death scene is really good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
No, totally.
But yeah. So what, we're at 16?
18 was Incredible Hulk, 17 was Doctor Strange, 16, yes sir.
My 16 is your number 1. It's Iron Man 2.
That is one that you and I have a huge gap on, because I have
it so much lower.
I had Iron Man 2. No, I had Iron Man 2 at 27. So I mean, we have a real big gap there. So is it just for Hammer?
No, I like stuff outside of Hammer, but I do like Hammer. I wish he
It's a
came back
fun
and did
movie.
things. That's
I
why you have that character.
I know. I do feel like I haven't gone back to that in forever. I feel like a watch of that right now, I might find myself putting it a little bit higher, just based on stuff lately.
Yeah.
I don't know, just in entertainment value, if nothing else. But
No, I might feel like, oh, I miss this,
hmm
but
there's a quaintness and a simplicity of that period that I miss is part of it. So I mean, like I
mhm.
got my story issues, my flaws, and all the stuff we talked about earlier, but there's
Yeah,
stuff that
I would
movie
change
has
everything
we're
about it.
that we're missing right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
my
What
s-
is your 16?
my 16 is Thunderbolts.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, I'm about to get Thunderbolts. Not in like the next one, but soon.
Like 14 or 13. Yeah, I didn't figure you'd have it necessarily in the top 10, but I think you and I are pretty in alignment on that movie. I will also say that I just watched it again over the weekend, and every time I see it, I've got a better watch of it. Like, I've seen it 3 times now, and I liked it even more this last time. I'm looking at my list right now, and I'm thinking if I had this to do over, I'd probably pop it up even one more. I would maybe
Oh,
flip. I
okay.
would maybe flip my 16 and 15 based on my last watch.
Hmm. Yeah, for
Just
sure.
solid storytelling, and uh it's real fresh and different. It handles the anti-hero team thing as well as anything has, really. I mean, the Suicide Squad is probably a better movie, but I like that it's not just Suicide Squad again. Like, it is a very different premise, and it does a good job of that. You take a mix of characters that don't go together and make them interesting as a dynamic. I like that whole cast. I even like Ghost okay in that. Like, I like that whole cast.
Yeah, for sure. No, and I think the directing in that movie is better than they have been in a long time too.
Real deliberate pacing. It feels legitimately cinematic.
Hmm.
You know, that was a fun
Yeah,
movie to go to in the theater. Like it
yeah.
knows how to slow down and give you some real honest to God suspense when it needs to. You
When I
know,
think
when you
too,
finally
we've
get
talked
to the
about this.
void, like that is a real presence and it's real ominous and it's the first thing they've managed that gives you the same feeling you got the first time the blip happened. Like, it was kind of that again. And I didn't feel
Mhm.
like it was ripping
Yeah,
that off. It was that same sort of foreboding. Oh God, what's even happening right now? I love it. And yeah, it's people disappearing on screen again, but in a different way. And I don't know, like I got that feeling back, and I really enjoyed that. And of course, what it has to say about mental uh, not mental illness, I guess, but just depression,
depression.
is a thing we need to be talking about right now. And
Yeah.
it was
Well, I
it was
also
nice that it
can't.
was so entertaining. And
Mhm.
also made you really feel for all of its characters. With that, everybody's real relatable in that way. Just that feeling of
Mhm.
loneliness and emptiness, and of I can't decide if I matter or not. Uh,
Yeah.
that was a wonderful change of pace.
No, for sure. What was I going to say off of that? No, and I can't watch the climax without thinking about what Spider-Man and Daredevil are doing in the void. But no, what was I going to say with that?
Are we
Yeah,
assuming he
so
got everybody in New York?
yeah, we see it like go over all of New York, at
Oh, is it
least
all
over
of
like
it? I
that
had a
one
sense that it
island.
was like a few blocks, but maybe it was bigger than that.
No, there's like the shot where we go out into the water and we see it's like taking over the full island. So I just always imagine what those two are doing. Uh, but no, what was I going to say with that? Oh yeah, we've talked about this off camera, but I think one of the issues they're having right now is that they've forgotten that they're making action movies, and like they will have action that's not great and not enough of it either, where we're not, working that into the story. And Thunderbolts is a weird case where it absolutely has that, but I don't care as much as I do in something like a Fantastic Four, where there's like, I don't know, two action scenes, three action scenes in Thunderbolts, but I like the characters. And like none of them are like especially spectacular, but like they're pretty good. And I'm not like bored between them, just hanging out with the characters.
Well, and I would also argue that it's not a. I mean, it is supposed to be an espionage thriller in its way, but
Mm.
it's less of a like superhero every few minutes you got to have a big fight kind of movie. Like it's an action movie in a different way. So like
Hmm.
there is
Yeah.
a lot of action in it, but the stuff that really works is more subtle. So you have things like the group getting out of the like the tunnel that they're climbing up and things like that. Like
Yeah.
a lot of the action that works in that movie isn't just big fight scenes, but it does have
Mhm.
one of the better car chases in a Marvel movie.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that part's fun.
I think that's really thrilling. And I
The
think all the
climax is
comedy
like a
is
complete subversion of that, and it's really cool.
I think for a Marvel movie, the comedy is so well integrated in a lot of that movie.
Yeah, there's a couple places where it maybe doesn't like fully land for me, but for the most part, yeah.
And I also just want to say, and I obviously we've talked about this movie, and I've said this a lot of times, but it bears repeating. Yelena's just a freaking star. She's so
Oh
wonderful,
yeah, Florence Pugh is great.
and
Yeah.
she's what Black Widow should have been in the first place.
Mhm.
And I stand by that. They could announce her own movie tomorrow, and I would be much more excited than Black Widow. Yeah, she's kind of the main character in Thunderbolts. She sort of already got her own movie, but that woman can obviously hold her own and carry her own movie. And like, uh, anyway, I was on the right foot with that from the beginning because that opening voiceover is so good.
Hmm. Well, she's one of those actors that I think, isn't the type of person I think of for this kind of movie. And then they get them for it, and instead of, just doing the like Marvel formula, she goes, okay, but I want to bring like more emotion and stuff out because it's more fun for me to play as like an actor.
Yeah,
And like it feels like she's kind of always levitating, elevating the material that she's in. Like even in that first Black Widow, she's got like a couple moments where I'm like, oh, you're getting like the big emotional scenes. Like it feels like you're fighting for this.
yeah. Well, she's a standout in Hawkeye.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's kind of where I fell in love
yeah,
with her because I thought she was good in Black Widow, but then she comes into Hawkeye, and I was like, why are we not like pushing her really hard in the movies? Because we have all these new characters that were like kind of forcing down people's throats and trying to make everybody love that nobody's grabbing onto, nobody really cares about too much. And then the three or four that I think are honest to god knockout, like potential Avengers replacements, like replacements for the original guard, they haven't done enough with.
yeah.
And
Well,
it's
her
funny
and Kate
because
Bishop have great chemistry, and
yeah, and Bishop is one of those characters. And I don't want to get deep into the politics of all of this, of course. It's really hard for me not to occasionally bring this stuff up just because it's the discourse surrounding all of this. But you'll have people that will complain about all of the like social politics in the later MCU movies, and they'll uh, lob the term MCU at it, and I get where that comes from, but what's interesting is the characters that I have, the newer characters I've loved the most, have ended up being female characters, and they're the characters that they don't sell it on, and I don't understand
mhm.
that. Like, Yelena's wonderful, Kate Bishop is wonderful. I personally love America Chavez. I know not everybody likes her as much as I do, but I think she's great. I've always liked Shuri fine. Like, there are several really great female characters that they could, but no, it's got to be Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, and like that Miss Marvel actress is fine, but like I didn't grab onto that character as hard as some of these others that they didn't sell really.
I just like that America Chavez, that actress, goes to every single Marvel premiere. She's only been in one thing. I think that's wonderful.
She's the real life Miss Marvel.
I mean, the girl that plays Miss Marvel seems like the real life Miss Marvel,
That's true
so
too. That's
I
true
guess they
too.
both are.
But I'm just saying, for the record, I don't think it's a male versus female thing. I think it's just the characters you like and the characters you don't. And they've tried to sell us real hard on some characters that I don't think are all that great. And the ones that have been, to me, really wonderful, a lot of them have ended up being women, and they haven't sold them the way they should.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
I mean, at least, Thunderbolts is Elena's movie. That's basically Black Widow, too. But
well, and she'll get
nobody watched it, so she won't get any more.
I know, it sucks. I mean, I'm sure the Thunderbolts will get things to do in Doomsday, but I don't expect Yelena to get like a giant part in that.
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
It's also kind of hard to say. They were already
filming it by the time it came out, so.
Yeah, it's also kind of hard to say like what characters that movie ends up focusing on the hardest as its like lead protagonist.
I have no idea.
Because going into Infinity War, you had your major Avengers and you had your Guardians, which were real popular, and it was really easy to tell who was probably going to get the most screen time. Endgame was a little bit less predictable because we had temporarily killed off half of them when we did some kind of interesting pairings and team ups and stuff where you didn't expect that to open with Nebula and Iron Man, and they had some fun things like that. But with this, it's like, how much do the Thunderbolts feature? How much does Fantastic Four feature? They have to get a pretty decent amount of screen time just because it's Doctor Doom.
Well, because you can always tell which characters the Russos are more excited to work with. With like Infinity War, clearly it's Thor. Where like some of that Thor stuff, they're like, hell yeah, this is like the big crowd pleasing stuff. I think you have some of that with Iron Man and Civil War. I think in at least one of those Avengers ones, Wolverine will definitely be one of them, but outside of that, like, I have no idea who the main leads for that will be.
And you can't tell which ones for each movie. Because you're right, like, we have two of these coming, and it's impossible to say, like, these will be the big ones for Doomsday and these will be the big ones for Secret Wars. I just want to read a couple of comments here after the kind of tirade I just went on. Angel Castaneda says, Cap, don't do Zendaya dirty like that. Last week you said she was hot. That was out of context. It's completely out of context.
It was out of context.
Ren Davis, yeah, I agree. It's not every day we get a character as groundbreaking as Taskmaster. And Angel Castaneda says, Cap likes Cassie Lang from Quantumania the most.
It's true.
Yeah, I put that movie way too low, apparently. Anything else you wanted to say about Thunderbolts?
No, I mean we did a speculation spoiler cast.
We did not do a speculation cast. No one would have cared.
No. At some point, I would like to see a Thunderbolts adaptation with the actual Thunderbolts, but
you'll never get
it's
that.
Amazing that I like that movie as well as I do.
Sure.
And it doesn't have them.
Yeah, because I've never read the source material, so I had no dog in that.
Yeah. No, I'd like to do that on Comic Vault at some point. Okay. It's just figuring out where exactly to do the breaks. I might do it in 2 parts, but we'll see.
I think it's really unfortunate. I can't say unfair, because, I mean, you get why people didn't go, especially after Brave New World, but it's really unfortunate that movie didn't perform, because it was much better than the box office would suggest.
Yeah.
And it felt like a Phase 3 movie to me. Like, if Thunderbolts came out pre-Infinity War, pre-Endgame, it would have done much better. Like, it was...
What?
That was all about the consumer confidence and lack of interest in... I would even say, like, the Captain America brand at that point. It's like, oh, Bucky's in a movie. Yeah, who cares? We just had a Captain America thing and it sucked.
Well, and, not that it would be this movie, but Thunderbolts should have just been the first movie after Endgame, or after Far From Home. Like, after one of them, that should have been.
Oh yeah, you've always said that.
Yeah, because that's basically where the idea starts from. Is all the characters are dead after, or they're just gone, I guess, after Onslaught. Now there's no FF, there's no Avengers. Like, who will rise up to be the next big thing? oh look, it's the Thunderbolts,
And as much as I
and
like that movie, it's still really awkward that you have this forced status quo of, there's no Avengers. Why? Like, why is nobody stepped up and made that team again? There's no explanation.
because their ducks aren't in a row.
Yeah, that that feels like just art imitating life, but we've got no real explanation in canon for it. Like, is it just you've got no shield and Tony Stark died, so there's nobody steering any ship? Meanwhile, you've got Happy Hogan helping out Spider-Man. Like, what is stopping him from getting an Avengers put together? And then you got, and maybe this is not evidence to anything because this movie is so kind of standalone, even though it's touching various aspects of MCU. But then you got like Deadpool going to Happy Hogan being like, make me an Avenger. Well, I guess that's supposed to be, that's a flashback, isn't it? That's like when you still have an Avengers. So it's like, why isn't he putting a team together? There's zero explanation as to why there's no Avengers. And you have all these characters. You have more superheroes running around than you did before Tony Stark died. No Avengers.
Yeah, they just don't
You
know what they're
can't
doing, and it's
explain
like
it.
too late.
I can't explain it. Yeah. And so the premise,
my number 15.
the premise to get you to
sorry.
Thunderbolts has to be completely different from that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
exactly. My 15, because we got caught on Thunderbolts for a while.
I know. I got stuck
My
on
15
Thunderbolts. I'm so sorry.
My
I just
15
watched
is
it
the
again. I was
Avengers.
excited about it. It's good.
No, that's fair. I
It's a good
like that
movie.
movie quite a bit.
Yeah, that's what I talk about.
Exactly.
That's Jason's favorite line of that movie.
Oh, Red Guardian's great.
And then, sorry, we showed it to my other kids for the first time. They all loved it, and Mikey couldn't stop saying that. Mikey was like, "That's what I talk about."
Well, one of the funniest MCU things is the fact that this lovable comedic relief character in Thunderbolts is Black Widow's abusive husband in the comics. But
he's so lovable though.
Yeah, we love Red Guardian. He did nothing wrong. My 15 is Avengers.
Okay. Where do I have that versus? Okay, yeah, I have that a decent amount higher. But that's a real respectable number.
Well, and now we're getting into movies I like. It's
of course.
Yeah.
My 15 is Deadpool and Wolverine. Which I know you had lower and you don't like as well as I do, but that's one of those movies where I walked in kind of kicking and screaming and wasn't expecting much from it. Was really surprised by how much I enjoyed it. And I'm looking at that more as the third movie in that franchise than I am, of course, as an MCU movie, which maybe should reflect even more in my list, I guess, because I'm putting it higher because I like it better as a Deadpool movie. But it's... I think it's better than Deadpool 2. I've got there are things about that movie, of course, that irritate me a lot. I feel like Deadpool and Wolverine turn some of that around for me a little bit. And Jackman is shockingly good in a movie I didn't want him in initially in the first place. They really kind of totally won me over on doing that. I ended up drinking the Kool-Aid on it, and I love that opening with just kind of saying, screw it, we're just gonna be awful to Logan and get it out of the way, and that was a lot of fun. And it just felt like a movie with a lot of heart that everybody involved really wanted to make. And I like the actress playing Cassandra Nova a lot. And the biggest thing is, and maybe this is why I should have this as high as I do for MCU, is I just love all the dressing down it does with how much the multiverse saga sucks and all the mistakes they've been making. And you can tell that the MCU is going to learn none of the right lessons from that. With Doomsday and Secret Wars, where it's going, we're going to have all these cameos to show you how stupid the cameo parade has been. And that's why they're fun in that movie. And then we're just going to do it straight later on, I'm sure, which is irritating. And I got to be legitimately surprised by a bunch of stuff, which was rare and exciting for me. Just the Blade and Elektra thing made me very happy. And anyway, so I don't know. I like that movie a lot.
So the other day, John said to me, he said, "Oh, you turned on Deadpool and Wolverine," and I was like, hold on now, hold on. If you go back to go back to when we first talked about it, I have always said every single Deadpool movie I see it once in the theater, think it's okay, and then it never holds up again after that. And I could already tell the places where it wouldn't hold up going back to it when we watched it. And my best thing, worst thing in that video was best thing, Hugh Jackman's really good. Worst thing, Deadpool. So like already even back then, my best thing, worst thing are the two main characters.
Yeah, so you were never real high on that, but
No, I thought it was okay the first time. And then, oh man, going back to it was hard.
oh really? See, I liked it better on a
So,
second viewing. Now I've not seen it. I saw it twice in the theater, and I don't think I've seen it on video. I can't remember.
mhm. So, I complained about this with Ragnarok and No Way Home, where those movies, it's like, okay, here's like what we're left with, and here's what we want to do. And they spend the first 15 minutes throwing away everything so that they could go, okay, this is the track record, like the track we actually want to be on. Deadpool and Wolverine takes like an hour to do that. And it's so long and so drawn out, and it's so just boring to sit through.
That's fair.
With Deadpool, with the TVA and all that stuff,
No, you're right. My eyes glaze over the TVA stuff.
and it takes so long to just for the movie to actually start. Um, and then once we get to Hugh Jackman, I think Hugh Jackman's really good. Deadpool is still very annoying. I still hate that character, but and the multiverse stuff has always hit you better than it hits me.
Yeah.
Like for me, that's just Marvel kind of patting themselves on the back. Like, look, we get it hasn't worked out. Haha, we're not actually going to change anything. So like we have different reads on it. I think
We have
too,
very different
with
reads
them
on
making
it
fun of it.
because I don't see that as the MCU making a statement at all. I see that as Ryan Reynolds making a statement about it, and the MCU completely ignoring it and letting him do what he's going to do because they know it'll make money. That's how I've always seen it.
And I don't, because neither of the first two care about making fun of comic book things, and the third one does, and there's like a completely different voice and the stuff they're making fun of. So I'm like, oh, like Marvel people are working on this now.
So
Um,
my rebuttal for that would be Ryan Reynolds hasn't gotten to do this in a few years, and he maybe cares more about commenting on those things now.
but I don't think he does. Like maybe the stuff where I see Ryan Reynolds
You could
is
be
like,
right. I don't know.
and this is a place too where like real world stuff. This isn't effective with the whole movie. It's like one section, but like the parts where I see Ryan Reynolds most is like when you have like the nice Deadpool that shows up, who is just them, like him and his wife making fun of that guy that they sued, uh, which is like really awkward watching now too. Like it's stuff like that that I see Ryan Reynolds, not the comic booky stuff. Like the comic booky stuff, I think is all Marvel.
So part of the reason that I still feel that way about it is the MCU has never been as self-aware and self-deprecating in the right kinds of ways as that movie is. I just don't feel like the the people in charge would ever make a joke about how long they're taking on Blade.
But I mean, and I don't think that's what that is. You and I have argued about that line because
Have
I
we?
stand by, yeah, because I stand by that line is laughing because Blade is about to come out when they're making that. Where when they're filming that, they think Blade will be coming out in like a year. Not so much that it's taking
Oh,
so
you think it's
long,
supposed to
but
be like an
also,
ironic thing where he's saying that, but then they're gonna get it out?
but we're about to get Blade, yeah. And She-Hulk does stuff like that. Like She-Hulk makes fun of the like how like bad their CGI is and like how they work CGI people and
Oh,
like
I guess that's
all
true.
all
Yeah,
Marvel products are made by an AI.
yeah, that's
Like
true.
that stuff is in She-Hulk. Like I do think that has nothing to do with Reynolds. I think that's entirely MCU.
Well, I have a bias in that I appreciate the statement was being made. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
No, I mean that's fine. I was
Whatever.
like,
I still like that movie
you
a
can
lot.
like it,
I have
but
internal logic issues, and I don't want to take it too seriously. But I retain my criticism that it's really dumb that the two Deadpool movies are somehow supposed to take place in the same universe as Logan. It's impossible. It's not making
yeah,
freaking sense at all. It's ridiculous. I don't know how
yeah, that's
Deadpool
fine. Like that's funny.
figures out his way to get to the MCU and all of that. It's very odd and confusing.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And I also don't like uh the the big multiverse Deadpool's fight toward the end. I just think it falls massively flat.
The Deadpool fight thing is so weird because it is like a shot for shot remake of the one take fight. I guess I shouldn't say shot for shot, but it is like just a complete recreation of the one take fight from Old Boy. And I'm like, but like, and like, is that a joke? Like, I don't really understand it,
Yeah, it was
but
an
it's
homage
really
for
weird.
some reason. Yeah, I don't know what that was
Yeah,
about.
it's very weird.
Anyway,
Uh, yeah.
14.
My number 14 is Captain America: First Avenger, and
Oh
now
my
that I'm
god.
looking at
Oh
it,
my god, we finally have the exact ranking. We
oh,
both
don't say
have
that because I was just about to say I feel like this and Avengers should be flipped, but
we both have oh, you think Avengers should be one above that?
I'm looking at it now and I'm like, no, I'm gonna stand my ground. I'm gonna say First
Please,
Avenger.
I mean, I agree with you. I do think Avengers is a better movie than the first Avenger, but I want you to keep it so that we can have one that's the same number. My first Avenger is also at 14.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which seems apropos because I think when we did the rewind commentary on it, we both kind of said all the same things. Like I think
Mhm.
we were pretty in line on that one.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good.
It's
It's a
pretty
solid movie.
good,
Go watch that
but
rewind.
it's got a contrived third act, man.
Yes, it does.
And it's got the worst green screen in the MCU.
Oh, I don't know if we can say that, but it's up there.
It's tied with two or three other things if it's tied.
It might be tied with like 18 other things at this point.
They don't have the best track record.
No,
And some of
not
my
at this point.
some of my favorite Marvel movies have really terrible green screen.
It's true. Because even Winter Soldier has like some pretty
It
bad
has
green
one of the
screen.
worst green screen moments.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate. What else do you want to? I mean, we did that not too long ago. What else do you want to say about First Avenger?
I don't know. It's pretty good. I don't know. I don't have like a ton to say. It's just it's an enjoyable
Red
watch.
Skull's wonderful. I wish he had been okay with coming back, but alas.
It is unfortunate. I still stand by Robert Redford should have just been Red Skull. Like
That would have been
in
great.
in that case, you're just recasting. Like you don't need Hugo Weaving back.
Yeah, and they had to recast when they finally did him again anyway.
Hmm. Yeah, that was just some guy.
Really good romantic chemistry, but the romance itself is not really well written.
Hmm. Yeah,
Ultimately, the setup is good, and then they've got some kind of like TV drama shenanigans that I don't like.
hmm. Yeah, and it's cool because it has the original Human Torch.
It does.
Yeah, when they go to the Stark Expo, he's like in
That's right. That's
he's one
right.
of the things.
Sometimes you'll
It's
say
like, that's
things, and I
cool.
think you're just messing with me. Where
No,
I'm
he's
waiting to go.
there.
Wait, that's not there. You're like, yeah, it is. And then you try to convince me that a thing is in a movie that's not in a movie.
No cap, don't you remember in Age of Ultron when Ultron is like, "Oh, I was looking through the old archives and I found this Human Torch body. I'm gonna turn it into my vision."
Ren Davis says
And then he
First
takes
Avenger.
Wonder Man's mind and puts it in. You know, it's a whole thing.
God, you unlocked a whole memory. I forgot all about that. Ren Davis,
Mhm.
First Avenger has a stronger handling of character than Wonder Woman. I mean, I can't disagree with that. Even though I like that movie more than Austin does, but I'm with you. Ren Davis, I always saw the Blade joke as it could go either way joke. it works if Blade comes out soon or not at all.
No, it definitely plays like either way.
Yeah, I guess so.
100%. Mhm.
I sure didn't see that when I first saw it, but
Well, you and I argued about it like when it came out, where I was like, "No, it's clearly this," and you're like, "No, it's not. It's clearly this," and I'm like, "But it can't be."
Ren Davis, R.I.P. Robert Redford, the new president of Watchmen. It's just every time Redford comes up now, that's
Yeah.
what we're not going to be able to help but bring that up. I still can't believe we reviewed Watchmen the week he died.
I don't know. It's crazy.
It's just absolutely wild.
Mm-hmm. Robert Wilde, even. My number 13 is
what a great actor!
Thunderbolts.
I don't know if he would have been a good president, but he was a wonderful actor.
Who knows? We'll never know now.
You're
My number 13 is Thunderbolts.
We had
Asterisk.
Asterisk, yeah. We had it 3. The asterisk drops it a little bit.
I hate that on Disney Plus it does say on like the picture of it, Thunderbolts, the new Avengers. I hate it so much.
I want all of that out of it. And I like the ending with it, but I want all the advertising to get rid of it. I want a different credit sequence. Like I need all that going.
Yeah, and I don't agree with the credits, but yeah, like I don't know. You don't advertise it like that. It's weird. But anyways, what is your 13?
My 13 is Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, okay. We're getting close to Multiverse of Madness for me.
I was going to say, I didn't figure you could have it too far away from mine, and you and I will be two of the only people that have it that high. Because we love that movie, and a lot of people act like it's the worst thing in that phase. I don't get it, but... And we've talked about all the reasons that we both like it. And it's funny because I felt like when we did the rewind commentary on it that I was harder on that movie and that you had to play defense on it the whole time. But I still really like that movie. I had a lot more criticisms of it than you. But it's in my top 13. Like I think it's overall quite excellent.
Yeah. No, I mean I think it's one of those movies where yeah, I got sidetracked. Sorry, I got a message and it like distracted me for a second.
Is it important?
No,
do you need to go take care of somebody's pets?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
No, I think that if the Spider-Man trilogy that Raimi made came out now, people wouldn't like it as much because I feel like half the things people complain about in Multiverse of Madness is just like weird Sam Raimi-isms where they're like, oh, like it's too silly, like when this happens, like, oh, Doctor Strange and Mordo have like a weird, like they lock eyes when they first see each other and it's like a standoff moment, and it's like, no, like that's fun, like there's some style happening in this movie, it's cool. Things like that. And
Yay for style.
Yeah, I mean that's not a great script directed by a great director. Like I think is what it is. Like it's a fun movie to watch.
I don't think it's a horrible script either, but
no, it's not like a horrible script or anything. But like I do think it's not like the most amazing script in the world or anything. But like Raimi takes it and just has like a ton of fun with it, and that's why that movie's fun. That's why I like it.
But I personally think it's a big step up from the first movie, just because it's a lot less routine. The first movie is a pretty standard origin, trying to be as original as it can possibly get away with. One thing that I didn't mention, that I meant to say when we talked about the first movie, Austin, is a thing that I've always admired about that is how well it finds a way to differentiate Doctor Strange and Iron Man's character, given that movie Iron Man is taking enough from comic Doctor Strange that should have been a real tall order to do that character and it not just be a carbon copy. And they did a pretty good job of finding a way to give them different but somewhat similar character flaws.
Yeah, for sure. No, all that is handled like pretty well, especially like going into that movie. I thought it was going to be a huge mess.
Yeah,
and that's another thing too, is that a lot of the people that I hear complaining about it are like, the cameos and like multiverse stuff wasn't like big enough, and I'm like, I don't care about any of that. Like, I don't even really love the cameo stuff that we have in that movie. I'm glad that they immediately get killed, but
Yeah, that whole thing's a little contrived. It's pretty easy. It's just like, here's all these disposable characters that we're supposed to be excited to see, and then they just get killed one after the next.
well, I feel like I have with that what you have with the Deadpool and Wolverine one, where it's like, here's like this annoying cameo brand. They're dead. Get them out of here.
Oh yeah, you did do that.
Back to the real movie, and I'm like, hell yeah, this is great. Yeah, and I like Wanda a lot as the villain in that movie. And Bruce Campbell, like Angel Castaneda says, is great as Pizza Papa.
Yeah, that whole thing is fun. And again,
it's just a fun movie.
It just feels kind of fresh and not too much like anything else they had made. And we haven't gotten a lot of the kind of horror imagery that movie manages to do. It also has the greatest Wong moment in the MCU.
Fortify your minds. I had to think about it for a second. I had to fortify my mind.
Yeah, to fortify his mind. That will live rent-free in my head forever. And once again, I stand by this. America Chavez is one of the best cast actors in the entire thing. I don't know where they found her. She's just wonderful.
Yeah,
and that's a character I never liked in the comics. I think that's a really good update and adaptation.
Mm-hmm. And I was also super pumped that Rintrah was in that movie, and he's basically only in the background, but I get like unreasonably excited when he shows up. And I wish they didn't cut his subplot. He's the big green buffalo man.
Oh, I don't know who the hell that was.
Which I love that he's still just there, even though they cut his subplots. Just every now and then it's like, wait, why is there just like a cow man?
That's what I kept wondering. I was like, well, I thought he was there just to tell you that like they went to another universe and it's weird. Like,
mm-hmm. Well, no, because he's in our main one. He's just training at Carmitage. He's just one of the students.
Oh, that's true. Okay, I forgot that was Carmitage. I thought that was like another universe they were going to for a second. I guess you're right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. That's fun.
Chavez should certainly be a major plot point in the Battle World stuff when we get to Doomsday.
She's got to be.
And I really, really hope she is, even though that movie's not real well liked. Although it made decent enough money, I think.
Oh, that movie did really well. I think that's like a $800-900 million movie.
Okay.
I think people went, oh, it was disappointing because a lot of people thought it would break $1 billion just because it was like, oh, No Way Home just broke $1 billion. But it's also a Doctor Strange movie, and like,
yeah,
like.
I'm sure Spider-Man helped to propel it, and Spider-Man was a lot about multiverse. Both those movies have Doctor Strange in them, so it was probably to a lesser degree as like an Iron Man 3 or a Captain Marvel or something. Some people probably went thinking this is important. I'm supposed to see this. I'm sure there was some degree of that.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But like Iron Man 3 was propelled real hard by Avengers. That movie had to have been propelled by Spider-Man.
Yeah. And then the climax is just pure Raimi, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
My number... Sorry, we're on 12?
Number 12!
My number 12 is Far From Home.
Wow, that's a lot higher than I would have expected. Cool. Which makes me wonder where Homecoming is for you.
Yeah. What is your number 12?
My number 12 is Endgame.
Oh, okay.
Which, as I'm looking at this list, feels maybe even a little high, but I'm like, I wouldn't put it under First Avenger. Like, I would maybe flip a couple of things. I don't know. I've talked a lot about, like, my loves and dislikes about Endgame, of course. I think it's a real uneven movie, and I don't think it lives up to the one before it.
Infinity
War, thank you. We're talking about so many movies.
When they're a two-parter, basically.
Yeah, exactly. The way they... I I know people complain a lot about the way Thanos is handled by the end of that, where he kind of just turns into more of a two-dimensional smash everything kind of villain at the end. That's never bothered me too much. I do really like the way he is dealt with at the start of the movie.
Hmm. Well, I think it's important for their take on Thanos that you have that, because it's like that. Cause you and I have argued about Thanos a lot, but
Yeah, yeah.
that to me is like the confirmation of Thanos doesn't actually care about any of the stuff that he's saying. He just wants to kill people. That's all he actually
That's
cares
how far
about.
gone he is. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like he's like an older. He's almost like up his own ass in Infinity War, where he's like philosophizing about why he's doing it, but really at the end of the day, none of that matters. Like you get that in Endgame, where you get to see. He's only a couple years younger, but like a little bit younger Thanos, and now he gets to see like how people have reacted to it, and it's like, yeah, none of this matters. I just want to kill people.
yeah, and that's kind of what I want it to be, which is I think why I don't mind that so much. But I think my response to it was always, well, if that's what it's supposed to be, then everybody that's loving their version of Thanos, it's for like all the wrong reasons because they think he's so relatable. And then the Russos kind of talk about him like they changed him so he was more relatable. So like, I've never trusted that they did that on purpose.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I haven't heard them talk about it, so like maybe, but like at the same time, like you can maybe have it, kind of both ways, where it's like he's waxing kind of poetically in a way that you could see as relatable,
And then you see
but
his true
he's
colors
not
by
really,
the end.
and you see his true colors, yeah. Well,
And
especially
maybe he
because,
believed in it to some degree at some point. I mean, my issue was always just how come we don't get to see the other side of the argument discussed and played out. That was always my issue with it, where it's like no other solution to this problem is ever talked about, and that was what always kind
yeah,
of irritated me about it.
yeah, and to me, Thanos just doesn't care. Like it's not about
Yeah.
that.
Well, no, that's
But
fine, but some of the other characters, I just need somebody in a scene to walk up to Thanos and say, "Here are these other ways you could maybe solve this problem. You have this like all powerful device," and Thanos go, "I like I don't care," or "This is the no, you're wrong. This is the only way to do it." Like I needed the argument presented to Thanos.
it depends how it's handled. Like
Well,
like
yeah,
I could see that as
absolutely,
being.
but it's not handled. That's my problem with it.
Yeah, and I mean, I just don't have that because I'm like, he doesn't care, and they only care about stopping Thanos. Like, they don't care about what he says his goal is. Um, so like, you have kind of characters facing off where they're not really two sides of a same coin. It's just that Thanos feels this way about a thing, and they just want to stop Thanos. You could have made it more of that, and had that argument, but like I think with just what's there, like I don't know, it
Yeah,
maybe would have been awkward to get
but
that in.
but you're making an assumption about the character motivation that I'm not. And so if you're right, that's for sure what they think they're making. Absolutely. But I need that argument so that I know what they think they're making because I don't trust
Hmm.
it.
But I don't care. Like at the end of the day, what they think they're making. This is just what I see with what we
No, I
have.
get that, but I don't think we have enough to be sure about it. I don't. There's not enough for sure evidence, in my opinion, that your read is right, regardless of whether you take just the piece on its own account, which is what I want to do with it, of course. So when I say like what they're making, I just mean the piece itself has to tell you what it is, and that's a
Hmm.
place where I don't feel like I've got enough to go on.
Yeah, yeah. I guess we just see it in a different way. But like that to me is kind of how we interpret the like rejection thing.
Yeah.
Is the everyone kind of comes together to overturn what he's done, and he's like, well, screw you, I'm just gonna wipe the slate clean.
Yeah. That actually makes that whole thing better for me. Endgame is, I think, to a lesser degree, and this is part of why it's as high as it is, because I think this works better, to a lesser degree than No Way Home, it's that big event, kind of ceremonial tribute movie where you go and see it one time and everybody applauds and then it does not hold up great on repeat viewings. I have found that Infinity War holds up really well on repeat viewings.
Yeah.
That movie is exciting and a lot of fun and engaging every time I see it. And Endgame does have a little bit of that. I kind of feel like I'm watching this is going to sound like a weird way to put it, but like a recorded stage play where you were there when it happened, and all those characters you haven't seen in a while that you thought were dead walk in, and you clap, and then you go home afterwards, and it feels a little bit weird watching that again.
Hmm. Well, I think the big thing is because so for runtime, your runtime is going to depend, obviously based on what your story is. I think Infinity War is like the exact right length, and it's just like a train, like it's constantly moving. Endgame is so bloated, where I'm like, there's just so much I would cut. Like it feels like they made it 3 hours because it's like important,
Oh
but it
yeah, that's
didn't
true too.
justify that.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. And
Mhm.
obviously, I've got issues with the way the time travel works and stuff, which I've talked about in the past. I won't get into right now. Uh,
Yeah.
but I like the way, even if I don't buy some of the story logic with it, like I like the way Captain America goes out. I'm fine with the way they handled they handled Iron Man. I think the funeral at the end is really really heartfelt and great and impressive that they got all those actors in one place, and we all cynically assumed that some of them were cut in, and they weren't. They were actually all standing there, which is really cool. Uh, there's a lot of cool moments like that, and some people, of course, I don't like what they think of as the member berry stuff, and like going back and patting ourselves on the back and playing the greatest hits. And I think some of that stuff is actually really cleverly handled. And I like that they actually stuck to the continuity and looked back at where the stones were in different movies. So they were stuck going back to Dark World, even though they know nobody likes Dark World. And I really respect that, as much as I don't like that movie. Like, they're not there very long because they know we don't want to live in that movie for any amount of time. But it's cool they didn't try to contrive some other way to deal with that. They're like, oh, I guess we got to go back to Dark World, even though nobody cares about this. And like going back to the
There
opening
is
of
a
Guardians was
smarter
super cool. And
there
I
is a smarter you wouldn't get the Guardians opening thing, but when they go to see the Collector, you do have both the Power Stone and the Reality Stone in the same
you could
place
have
at the
gotten
same
them.
time.
You could have gotten
You
them
could have
both.
gotten them both right there, but
Maybe they should have done that.
I guess then you have to deal with like the full Guardians team and whatnot. But that's like a nitpick, like whatever, who
I never
cares?
thought about
But
that. That's a good point.
just thought of it like right the second. um, yeah, I don't know. The member berry stuff, it's kind of like whatever on me. It goes on a little bit too long, and then I have that with the climax as well, where I
Yeah.
think when it's just the main kind of Avengers Trinity versus Thanos, it's really cool, and the everything after that was cool in the moment, but like is just kind of bloated.
Hmm.
Going back to it.
There's some cutesy writing here and there that I thought went a little bit too far, and that I felt like a bad omen for what was to come with later MCU. I will say that I didn't love some of the stuff in the like early days of Shield, Peggy Carter stuff with Tony meeting his dad. I thought some of that stuff was a little bit overwritten,
Hmm.
and
That's fair.
bits like that. But anyway, it was still a really big deal and a lot of fun. In at the time, it's not one that I would want to go back to as much as Infinity War and the original Avengers. I'd probably watch it again over Age of Ultron, but that's because I'd watch Infinity War and then that, because I want to go
It's
back to
because you're
Infinity War a
watching the
lot, and
duo.
so I'm gonna watch them both when I watch that probably.
Yeah, for sure. My number 11 is Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that's not surprising to me. In fact, I thought, like I said, it might be in your top 10.
Mhm. Just short of it. That's why I was like, maybe it's not.
So we're really close to our top 10. My 11 is Guardians 2. No, I know.
That's fair.
We know
That's
how
fair.
we each feel about Guardians 2. It's a fun movie. I don't like it nearly as well as the first movie. I've always had that, but I mean, like, it's real close to my top 10. It's still a really great movie.
Yeah, I mean, Guardians 2 is my favorite Marvel movie. That's not a surprise
Yeah.
to anyone. I've talked about it a million times, but fair enough. We've done a whole commentary on it. We don't have to like fully get into
I
it.
could have had
But
it lowered to piss you off. I don't know.
yeah, well, if you do that, I'm gonna take something you love and I'm gonna drop it down more. Now my number 35 is Winter Soldier. How do you like them apples?
I don't know. Somehow I have no feelings about it. What else do you want to say about Guardians 2 since it's your favorite Marvel movie and this is the place where we're supposed to talk about it?
Well, Ego's my favorite MCU villain. He's fantastic. I love Kurt Russell. Yeah, I love pretty much everything about Guardians 2, even if the first act has some wonky stuff in it. But uh, everything that I love about it like shines through like over that.
When you say
So
wonky, do you mean just like kind of humor that doesn't land super well or setup
yeah,
issues or
because people complain about like we have to end scenes with an awkward joke, and I only have that in the first act. I think
yeah,
after that we iron it out. But yeah, some of that's just kind of wonky. But I
that's
don't know.
fair.
Outside of that, to me, it is very much like a perfect kind of Marvel movie.
I
And
think
I
that's.
remember at the time. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think that's one of their best looking movies. I've
Oh
always
yeah,
thought
no, I
that.
think it's like the best looking Marvel movie. Absolutely.
I still can't get my mind around the like technical precision of that opening credit sequence. It's just kind of preposterous how good that looks
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
with the like
Uh,
the kind of group perspective with the dancing uh,
mhm.
to the yellow song.
Well, and it's interesting too because like the first movie has such an amazing opening titles, and two doesn't just try to recreate them. It does its own thing while being in a similar kind of form,
Yeah, because there's still
and it's like
dancing.
just as cool. Yeah.
No, it is. I agree.
Mhm.
I think I would, if I had to put one over the other, it would be the first one, just because I will, and again, and as you know, I just have some such a big soft spot for that movie. But I very few things have hit me sideways in a theater like the way the logo in the first movie just appears on the screen. Like I don't know why that knocked me out in the theater.
Mhm. Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah.
I've always loved the
Uh,
timing of that. It's
when
wonderful.
I can't hear
It's like
Mr.
the
Blue Sky without doing like the stop when the title
that's
comes
true
up.
too. That was pretty good. That title suddenly showing up on the screen in the first Guardians, I had in a very different way the same thing that the Lion King logo had for me when I was a kid. They're just
Oh,
like
okay.
like I've always loved that, and there's not a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that does it.
Well, and also too, because and I've talked about this before, but Guardians 2, I think, is the best soundtrack of the three.
I
But
agree.
Come and Get Your Love is the best song out of all the Guardians movies, which also helps the opening of that first movie.
Yeah, I the Guardians 2 soundtrack is the one that I go back to the most, and I think it's got the most kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better way of putting it, like diverse sound, like variety of sound that all ends up going together. And I whereas the first movie, all of those tracks collectively thematically come together to reflect and enhance a character arc. The second movie, like a lot of the songs thematically matter in the scene that you're watching them in, but the main story, the whole thing's about one song, and that's a thing I really like about that movie. In contrast to the
Mhm.
first one, is that
Yeah.
you've got one song that you're kind of using to analyze a whole villain's like history and POV, and I really like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, and everything with Brandy is like the best thing Gunn's ever done with a song.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fantastic.
I think so too.
Mhm.
So it's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Anyways,
but at this point I think the other two are better, and I have that has been my ranking since 3 came out. Like I have not budged from them.
Mhm. No, that's fair. My number 10 is Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness.
It cracked your top 10.
It did crap my
crapped it?
top 10. It did crack
And that's
my top.
and that's
10.
interesting that you have Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness right next to each other. Am I right about that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I like both of them. Yeah.
My number 10.
Waiting on 3.
Say again.
Waiting on 3.
Waiting on 3. What does that mean?
For Doctor Strange, like a third movie.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry. Yeah, I know.
Very good.
That it hasn't even been announced. We don't know if we'll ever actually get it.
Well, 1 and 2 have a ridiculously long amount of time between them, and now 2 and 3 will.
Possibly longer.
There is an entire Spider-Man trilogy between Doctor Strange 1 and 2. There might be another one between
And Doctor
2 and
Strange
3.
is in one of them.
Yes. It's ridiculous.
He gets all that screen time with Spider-Man between the Avengers and that movie.
Yeah.
Before he gets his own third movie. Or second movie. That's amazing.
Guardians 3 came out before Doctor Strange 2 did, and there was a reason it took a long time.
Wait, did it?
It does. Oh, no.
No, it doesn't.
No, it comes out the year after.
No,
Sorry.
it doesn't.
No, it comes out a year after. But it's the exact same amount of time between them.
Yeah.
Because Doctor Strange 1 is a year before.
You just about busted my brain with that.
Guardians
I was like,
2.
no, it did. There's no way.
No, I don't know what I was thinking with that. No. Doctor Strange 2 is first, but it is still the same amount of time between them, which is more so, I guess, what's weird about that. But anyways.
That's crazy. There
was a Spider-Man trilogy between both of those.
My number 10
Guardians 2 and 3,
is a movie that... I'm sorry, what?
No, just Guardians 2 and 3, Doctor Strange 1 and 2. There's a full Spider-Man trilogy between both of them, and it's ridiculous.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were still talking.
I'm sorry.
No, you're
rambling.
Good. My number 10 is a movie that at one time I would have been surprised to think would ever make the top 10. When it first came out, I thought it was fine, and I've liked it more and more every time I've gone back to it, especially after doing a rewind on it. And you and I haven't done a commentary project review on this one yet, but my number 10 is Iron Man 3.
Oh, okay. We're getting close to Iron Man 3 on mine.
Well, you being the big Iron Man guy you are, I figured you'd probably have 3 and Iron Man 1 higher than me. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Well, Iron Man 3 is weird. So I've gone back and forth throughout the years on what I like more, 1 or 3. And I think, I at least for now, I've kind of settled in that I like Iron Man 1 more, but I like the flavor of 3 more. It just doesn't have as good of an execution as 1 does. But yeah, I like Iron Man 3 a lot. It's not a perfect movie.
Yeah.
But I do like it quite a bit.
In some ways, it's better than it has any right to be. I like the spy thriller aspect of it.
Oh, I love it. The end credits is like one of the greatest things in the MCU.
And one of the best end credits of anything ever.
Just anything ever, yeah.
Yeah. What's great about it is that theme. I know we're talking a lot about music right now. That orchestral theme is new for that movie, and I didn't think anything of it until you get to the after credits, and then you realize that you're getting the theme you've had throughout the whole movie with this like 80s action TV opener. And then every time I've seen the movie since then, that theme has really jumped out to me because it gets stuck in your head when you get it orchestrated as the action theme. And it's actually a really, like, that is one of the better MCU soundtracks overall. If you go back and listen to that score, it's a good one.
I listened to it while reading Iron Man comics. Like, I think that's a great soundtrack.
It's really good.
Or great score. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Again, I go back and forth, but it's between 1 and 3 for what I think is Downey's best performance.
Yeah.
He's really good in it.
It's one of the better kid performances in a movie like that. I think that kid's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he's really good.
The way
the villain, I like. I know a lot of people don't, but I like him pretty well. I'm not as big of a fan of like the kind of Jim Carrey Riddler like way we started, but I do like him overall throughout the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's better than Electro. It kind of felt like an Electro thing again. Or I guess
Yeah, well,
maybe
because they're
before
both from the
that?
well of Carrie's. It is before
It
Electro.
is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
You're right. They are kind of both looking at that. But it's
yeah, them
maybe
and Cheetah.
a little more appropriate with Iron Man 3 because that opening scene where you see that is in the 90s, so like they're at least setting into the same period that they're drawing from. You could kind of give it
Hmm.
that maybe.
Hmm. Yeah, and but I like all the action in that movie. Like
Yeah.
you can tell they got like a real like, classic action guy for that movie with Shane
Well,
Black.
that's part of the reason I like that as much as I do is because I think Shane Black is just a really good action director. It is
Yeah.
a compromised story. I realize, like, when you listen to his director commentary, you can tell the compromises he had to make and how sad he is about certain concessions, and that he probably is not the biggest fan of the co-writer he was saddled with that he has to sit next to do that commentary with. He is very charitable, but you can feel the frustration in his voice, and
For sure.
that's kind of unfortunate. And once you know about that, it's hard not to unsee certain things in that movie.
Mhm.
But it's also the most ambitious of those.
Yes. Yeah, it's the biggest. And it's one of the movies where it like really makes you wait for it to get like really big with the Iron Man
Yeah,
stuff.
because it feels like a much
And
smaller
it
and
really
more
pays off.
intimate thing, and it's
The
got
plane.
really great impact. Yeah, this that kind of goes into something I was about to say. It has really great, impactful theatrical kinds of moments. Like I would argue that is the most. And like it's a bigger budget. It's got a bigger. It's got like an honest to god action director. But that is the most like theatrical feeling Iron Man movie. It's so impactful when the house blows up. It's a really
Yeah.
visceral kind of scene, and I was always very impressed with how that was handled.
Well, especially like we've really lived with it in the first two. Like that is a place where it works really well as the third one, where we've really lived in this moment or like in this area, and like when his like robot arm thing slides off into the sea, it's like, oh man, like he's had so much great like comedic banter with this thing throughout these two movies, and now it's just gone. Like it's so sad. Um, no, it's done very well, and well, yeah, I was gonna say with the plane thing, like that's maybe one of the most impressive sequences of the MCU, if not like the most impressive. Just in like how it was made, and it looks
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's really neat. And I also
Hmm.
like the way I. This is a little bit ironic looking at Iron Man 2. I like the way the Tony's character arc from Avengers informs that movie. I think that's a really good example of building on other movies in the franchise, and not even necessarily the last in the named franchise, but like going over to Avengers. Whereas Iron Man 2, I at least when it came out felt like too much. I felt like of an advertisement for Avengers is coming, and the we're making a big deal out of the MCU is like coming together, and we're gonna have all of these movies and all of these characters, and introducing Black Widow, and making a big deal out of the Avengers project and all of that. I felt like Iron Man 3 was a really good example of propelling forward an overall character arc between movies, but giving you enough that if for whatever reason you hadn't seen Avengers, that movie is still watchable on its own. But then also, I mean, anybody that would watch that had seen Avengers. So
Hmm.
that wasn't even a problem.
Yeah.
Like, it works really well as a direct sequel to both of those things.
Hmm. Yeah. The way he gets over the PTSD is like a little easy, and I really wish that it could just be replaced with alcoholism, where after the Avengers thing, he's drinking, and then instead of that, like, okay, I'm gonna go build something. It's okay. I'm putting the bottle down. I'm gonna go
No, that
take
would
care
be
of this.
great, and I know you've always been on about that. But
But
what I like about it is like, however that's handled. I just like that he's having to confront his own mortality the way he is, and he could
yeah,
do
no,
that
I
through
agree.
drinking. You're absolutely right. But the idea that he's got anxiety in a way he never has, and his narcissism is failing him because the world is bigger than he thought it was, and he can't control it because now he knows there's aliens out there. That's fantastic, and that's the most sympathetic I had found him up to that point.
Yeah, for sure. No, all that's really cool. But everything pales in comparison to the greatest part about that movie, which is that it acknowledges that Man-Thing exists. And for that, it is one of the best MCU movies.
Where does that happen?
The one henchman, you know, when he goes to the bar for information and he gets chased by the one chick that's like an extremis goon, that is
Yeah.
Man-Thing's wife, and she's got the burn across her face, which is from Man-Thing's origin, where he burns her. And Extremis can't heal that because it's Man-Thing's burn. It can heal everything else, but not that.
Oh, interesting. So there were probably people that watched that were like, "How come that's not healed? You made a mistake."
Mhm. No, and it's like, haha,
You're
this
like
is
the
great.
you're like the one person that knows that, and then it never comes back again. So
No, because they never introduced Man-Thing in the MCU, tragically. I wish they would, but he never came back.
asterisk, that was sarcasm. Okay, before we get to the next one, Austin, I just want to take a real quick break if we can.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. My drink's done, so I could go get some water.
I'm
So
throwing my
that's fine
back
by
out
me.
sitting here. I just need a couple minutes. We'll be right back,
Yeah.
everybody, in just a couple of minutes. Give us 3 or 4, and thanks for watching. I know we're already at the 2 hour mark, so we're probably gonna be here at least 3. It's us, but we are
We're
into
getting
our top
close, though.
10.
We're into the 10.
We got 9 more, and none of these will be super surprising. So I doubt if we have to spend too much time on them. But
Yeah,
you
we
know
can rock
us.
this one out. Rock it like a hurricane.
Anyway, we'll see you here in a minute.
Yeah.
And we are back, everybody. Austin, what number are we on?
9, I think.
Yeah. So my number 10 was Iron Man 3, and Austin's number 9 is. See, now I just want to start guessing. So we got few enough numbers left.
You can if you want to.
I guess I could. And then I'm sitting here like, oh, what has he said already that I have a little bit higher? Let me think for a second. You're going to have Iron Man higher than this, almost certainly. I'm going to guess your 9 is... You already said Avengers, right?
Yes.
See, this is also weird because we didn't actually talk about some of the ones you did, so I'm trying to remember what you said. We didn't have a conversation about them. Guardians 3?
Nope.
Okay, go ahead.
But it is a third movie.
Oh.
My number 9 is Infinity War.
Infinity War. Okay. I guess that is a third movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got that quite a bit higher than that.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. What is your number 9?
My number 9 is Guardians 3.
Oh. Well, there you go.
I thought maybe we'd get lucky, we'd tie it.
No. Silly cab. Tricks are for kids. We weren't tying on that as number 9.
Well, I don't know how high you've got 3.
The world may never know.
I mean, I guess you could have. I guess you could have Guardians. You haven't even said 1 yet, which means
No.
So those 3 will all be in your top 10 somewhere.
Well, I mean, we are in the top 10, so
yeah,
by definition, it has to be.
No, I know. I'm just thinking out loud.
I know. I'm making fun of your out loud thoughts.
I don't know.
But yeah, Guardians 3.
It's a really good, satisfying conclusion that's shockingly dark and then wonderfully hopeful at the end. I don't know what else to say about it. And is also a really good-looking MCU movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. No, I love Guardians 3. I'm having like a really hard time between 2, 3, and the Suicide Squad for like where I would rate them between each other, because I do think they're just very like consistent between those 3 movies.
That's fair. I'm not sure. Like I said, at the moment, I'm still feeling like for me personally, 3 goes over 2. I don't guess I know where I would put the Suicide Squad and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're hard to rate or rank.
Because I kind of think I would put the Suicide Squad over Guardians 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I would, but then not over 2. But
yeah. And then I don't know that I would put it over 1. So there you go.
Yeah, fair enough. But no, Guardians 3 was like my real kind of MCU swan song. There's a good culmination.
He's like, and then I never need another one of these again. But they keep making them, and I guess I'll occasionally be forced to go.
Well, because every now and then I'll get like a Thunderbolts where I'm like, oh, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Guardians 3. What do you have to say about Guardians 3? We've done like a whole spoiler cast.
Yeah,
so I
mean, besides what I just said, like I said, it's my second favorite of those now. I've only, at least at the moment, now I've only seen it a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
So hard to super speak to, in the moment. I like how the flashbacks are handled a lot. I think that that cast of other anthropomorphic animal characters is really good and well cast and twisted and sad.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that villain is already kind of underrated. I think he's better than anybody gives him credit for. Yeah,
well, especially that actor, because so that is an actor that he brings over from Peacemaker. That actor is fantastic. It was definitely the right choice to bring him over and have him be the High Evolutionary.
Yeah, could anybody argue with me if I were to say that hardly any other Marvel villain has the intensity that guy has? Like, good God.
No, I think you would be correct. And it's a case where he comes in, and it's not just like a stunt casted villain. Like, he just goes, this is like the exact person I think would be good for this role. And not that like stunt casting's bad. I mean, I just said how Guardians 2 is my favorite villain, and that very much is a stunt casted villain. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just he just picked like an actor, like a working actor for High Evolutionary,
That's a good
and he's
point.
fantastic in that. Um,
Yeah, it
a
just
lot of
appears in it. You don't have
people,
to know who that is.
yeah, and a lot of people fan cast him for Brainiac, which I worry that is too close to High Evolutionary.
Yeah, I
But
would too. I'm sure he'd be
but he's great.
great, but
Yeah, you run into like I worry of that, but he's fantastic.
but British accent is correct for Brainiac.
Yes. Or
So,
a Michael Rooker Southern accent where he's just like, Superman, you're a jackass. I'm Brainiac.
no. I really liked the Counter Earth stuff in that movie. I'm surprised by how well that played. And how just
yeah, and that's like the type of
weird and
thing I
long that
wanted.
section is.
Yeah, that's the type of thing I kind of wanted with FF, where we see Galactus destroy the planet when they get to him. It's just like having a moment where you get to like see people on it, and then he destroys it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Counter Earth stuff is fantastic in that. Getting to drop the first Marvel F-bomb was cool.
But Austin, we don't have time for that in FF because we just have to make a 2-hour montage.
Exactly. With 2 action scenes mixed in.
Look, it's my favorite montage in the MCU. Okay, that entire movie. It's not my favorite Marvel movie, but it's the best montage. I guess it's cheating a little bit by being an entire film.
I did walk out and say Rocky IV has been dethroned. But I'm the only person who feels that way about it. But
that's so good.
Anyways,
I'm not gonna be able to stop using that joke now. It's the best montage. That film.
Exactly.
What is your number 8?
My number 8 is Civil War. So another third movie.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna see our top 10s mirrored quite a bit. It looks like.
Oh, okay.
Like there's gonna be some inversions where like.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Where like the ones
makes sense.
further down your 10 will be higher on my 10.
Mm-hmm. And then the ones further up in my 10 didn't make your 10.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Some of them were just not even there. We'll find out, I guess.
Exactly. What is your number 8?
My number 8 is the first Avengers movie.
Oh, okay.
Is The Avengers.
The Avengers.
Or in
Assemble.
Or in the UK, Avengers Assemble.
Mm-hmm. And I have my Disney Plus set to UK English, and it's not called Avengers Assemble, which makes me sad because I do get British spellings for other things like Zootopia, Zootropolis, and things like that.
Crazy! I didn't know about that one.
Yeah. So, like, screw you, Disney Plus. Change it to Avengers Assemble.
I think Avengers still holds up pretty well. It also, in its way, and it's so weird saying this so many years later, but it retains some of the quaintness and simplicity that the first Iron Man has as a big team movie when you compare it to all the big bloated events they had after that, where when that first comes out, it kind of feels like one of those. And then now that we've had movies with like 60 superheroes in them, you go back and you look at the original Avengers and you're like, this has a lot more room to breathe, and we're only dealing with 6 superheroes, and really more like 5.5 because Hawkeye's mind controlled for half that movie. But
yeah, no, Avengers is weird because I don't think there's much to its story. I don't love the takes on every character, but I just have a good time while I'm watching it.
Yeah.
It's one of those where I'm like, I don't know, they did a good job at just here are the Avengers.
Yeah, it's
Like
it's a lot more about like creating character dynamics and painting thematic parallels and things than it is about like really telling a complex story. Because it's such a simple, just
yeah,
villain shows up and then we assemble the team to fight it. The end.
yeah, it's the gimmick of everyone comes together from these other movies
Yeah,
and it like lives and dies on if that works for you. But it's like, it's weird that like Loki's the main villain and Thor gets like the least to do.
yeah. No, that is
Um,
weird. And you've got a director that is just not interested in that character.
no, like not at all. And then I like him more in Age of Ultron, but I don't think he's got a great grasp on Captain America in the first Avengers movie. And then Downey's just Iron Man in it, so like he's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it helps that he's not reading as much spoken or as much scripted dialogue as everybody else is. He's still making up a lot of his own stuff in scenes
He's just walking around eating blueberries.
and complaining about Galaga.
Yeah. It is funny going back to that movie, just like how much of like his screen time through the middle of the movie is him goofing off eating blueberries.
I like what Whedon does with Captain America more than you do, I guess, but mostly just in how he's contrasted with Tony Stark. Like that's the strongest stuff and the stuff that sticks with me the most. Is
Mhm.
when Tony says you're naive, you shouldn't trust the government as much as you do, and then he turns out to be right about it. And Tony Stark's like it's kind of obvious. It's the predictable thing to do, but it's still pretty satisfying where he finally kind of makes the sacrifice play, but then still survives it at the end. Like, you know where that's going the whole movie. It's just correct. It's just the thing to do.
I have always cried foul on that because he does in the first movie.
Because he does in the first movie.
Yeah, because he's like fully willing to die killing Ironmonger in the first movie. I don't. I've never really liked that whole like sacrifice play in it. That whole like the way Captain America dresses him down, I think, is very like ridiculous in that scene. But they're also being mind manipulated, so it's not like a big
Yeah,
deal.
there's that
But
too. Okay, you and I just
um,
looked at that really differently. I don't really know what you're talking about with the first movie. I don't see how that ever looks like he might not survive it.
well, Pepper straight up says, "If I do this, you will die," and he goes, "Just do it."
Oh, okay. I guess there's
And
not. I don't know.
yeah, like I don't know, just the way it's said, I think is very weird. And even in the terms
I
of
guess that's
they go,
fair.
"Oh,
I
you
never.
fight selfishly and only for yourself," and it's like, but that's like his character arc in the first movie. Like we're just redoing that again. But like, absolutely, he's like saving people and stuff in that first movie, and is willing to get in the way of things.
Well, I
Like I
always felt
don't
like
know.
Captain America was overstating it, but and like he doesn't really get how far Tony Stark has come, but there's still some truth in it. That's how I always read it. Where it's more, and Tony Stark makes this argument in Avengers where it's more he's got like the movie Kirk thing of he doesn't believe in the no win scenario. Uh, but you make a good point uh about that bit at the end of Iron Man. I totally forgot he said that.
Yeah, I don't know. That's always just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But like, I can look past that because they're just being manipulated in that scene. So it's not the character saying it, uh,
You could also
and like
argue at
being
the
kind
end
of
of Iron Man
self-righteous.
that he doesn't think he's going to die in that scene, and he just isn't listening to Pepper, and he knows he's going to make it. Like,
I don't know because there's also talks in that movie where Pepper's like, "You will die doing this," and he's just like, "No, I don't care. Like it's about the mission. I will right my wrongs." Uh, I don't know. So
that's fair. You and I look at that really. I've always looked at it a lot more like the no win scenario thing, where like
mhm.
he just knows he can think his way out of it, and like that first movie I always saw as a lot more about his changing his priorities and like finding his compassion and being able to put himself first, but not in a full on self sacrifice way.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, no, that's
and I
for
always
sure.
liked the idea that he had to inch toward that. So I never saw it as a full-on regression by Avengers. I also think you're making a compelling argument, but I never saw it.
No, and like that is a case where I will give it that it's better than like I wouldn't say it's full regression. I just don't really agree with Captain America in that scene. We are definitely building more on it. It's just that I think Captain America is very like self-righteous in that scene.
Yeah,
But
he
like I
is,
said, they're all
but I
being
also think that's
manipulated and
intention. I also think that's intentional. I don't think he's supposed to be 100%
Mhm.
right in that scene. Like
No, no, for sure. But like I also think because of the way it ends, like there is like more truth to what he's saying that I think there is.
okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It's fine. Like that movie still works for the most part. The stuff I don't like with Captain America is just that I think we make him like too dumb and stuff in places and like he's like weirdly like kind of a loser in that movie and I don't really know why. Like you have that whole thing where he first fights Loki and they're like, this guy doesn't even know how to fight, and it's like, but why? Like just because he just got out of the ice, but like for him, he was just fighting World War II. Like why does that impact it? And then we do a lot of just things like
I don't
that.
remember that. When does anybody say that?
That's when he's fighting Loki at the beginning.
But like somebody says he
Uh,
doesn't know how to fight. I just don't even remember that. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Black Widow's like, look at this guy, he's all over the place. And like that entire scene is like Loki just kicking his ass because he doesn't know what he's doing. I don't know. There's just like a lot of moments like that where it's just kind of weird, but I don't know. And it's the play. It's a place where I think he's only like that in the first Avengers movie, so it just kind of feels weird. But
Okay.
anyways,
Yeah, that never jumped out at me. I don't like that Thor Cap fight. I always thought that was really contrived.
mhm. The Thor and Iron Man
Or
fight.
sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, the Thor and Iron Man fight. And I never liked. I'm with you. I don't like Thor overall really in that movie. Uh, I don't love the way Hawkeye is handled. Like I wish he had more screen time apart from being mind controlled.
No, that's fair. The thing with Thor and Iron Man is weird, where like it is very contrived, but it's also just like very classic Marvel. So like it's very easy for me to just kind of roll with it. But it's definitely like a forced moment.
Yeah. Well, let's move on.
Uh, yeah, my number 7 is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, I guess that makes sense because I'm looking at what else is here that has maybe not been said yet, and there's enough slots that like we already know what your number one is, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
figure your top three would all be Guardians movies.
No.
So
What is your number
I mean,
7?
we still have three. So I am curious to see where three ends up landing. But now it's gonna be really hard to call your two and your three uh, after Guardians 2 being your top spot. And since you said that, I will just say everyone will also be able to call my number one as well. That also will not be difficult.
I know we all know it's Iron Man 2. You can't hide it. What is your number
I've been
7?
lying this whole time. My seven is Spider-Man: Homecoming,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and
we're close to mine.
I struggled a little bit with where to place Homecoming. I had it a little lower at one point, and what popped it up is the fact that I still think it's the best live action Spider-Man movie, and there
Mhm.
are lots of those. So I'm like, well, it needs to uh, be reflected of that in my list. And then I looked at what was around it, and like I think I do like that movie over Avengers and over the couple I have right after it. Uh,
Yeah.
that is still like top. Like I would have to. It might be cool at some point to rank villains. That would be interesting. I don't know what my top three or even five would be, but I know Vulture would be in my top three.
Yeah, my top 3 are probably Ego, Vulture, and Mysterio,
Yeah,
maybe.
I'd have Mysterio up in the at least five.
Yeah, and then High Evolutionary maybe is 4. and then probably Zemo. I don't know, something.
I was gonna say you'd
But
probably
yeah,
have
that'd be a
Zemo.
fun exercise.
Some of them, I'd be like, I don't even remember what this villain does in this movie, but I gotta rank him somewhere.
He was quite evil.
uh, I think Holland is a spectacular casting. I love his performance in that. I really like the character drama stuff in that. I think it's got, unlike its first sequel, I think it's got a really good balance of drama and comedy. Certainly, I don't even
Mhm.
mind Ned Gank leads. I think that actor's fun. I think those two have good chemistry. I wish we'd do anything with him after that movie, but I guess I can say that
Mhm.
about that entire supporting cast, besides
Well, I
maybe
think
MJ.
yeah. No, I like the supporting cast in Homecoming.
Yeah,
Homecoming, for those who don't know, is also my favorite live action Spider-Man. I think the perfect like just Spider-Man adaptation in film is probably some sort of blending of Homecoming and the first two Raimi movies,
I
where it's
agree
like
with
you
that.
take a couple of things that I don't love as much, or is like a specific, this take on it thing, and you take the things that are more definitive in both, combine them together, you have probably the best live action
Yeah,
adaptation, at
because
least.
the big thing that you don't get, of course, when we go to MCU is Uncle Ben, and yeah, we sort of don't need to see the origin again, but it is wonky not to have that discussed. We've talked about that a lot, and then also just you don't have your own Green Goblin.
Mhm. Yeah, well, especially with the Uncle Ben thing, I always thought 'cause, they were still, or maybe they'd stopped by that point, but doing the one shots thing, I always thought they should have just done the Spider-Man origin as one of those,
Oh, that would have been
which
good.
is like a 10-minute short film on the DVD.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Or do the
but
Incredible Hulk thing and put it in the intro, but that would be kind of a sad
or do
intro.
that. Yeah.
But you could have done that. And then the other thing I've always really appreciated about Spider-Man: Homecoming, and that I think is kind of inspired, like as an MCU movie. I know a lot of people don't like the Tony Stark thing, and I like to complain that Spider-Man is Iron Boy or whatever. I've always loved Homecoming as a companion piece and kind of a sister film to the first Iron Man. Like the structures are really similar, the endings are really similar. Those movies are talking to each other and mirroring each other really hard, and I always felt like that was appropriate in bringing the most popular Marvel character finally into the MCU when you didn't have him at the start, and then full on compare what's different inherently in those characters uh, by bringing Tony Stark in and then structuring it like the first Iron Man,
But
where where
also,
where one is all about responsibility and the other starts in the absolute opposite place, and then has to teach that to the new hero. I always thought that really worked.
Homecoming is entirely about how he's not Iron Boy. That's the thing that's always driven me insane. It's like Iron Man's in like 5 minutes of that movie, and like the entire thing is that he's got to learn to do it for himself, and
Yeah,
he's got to become his own person and do his own thing, and be Spider-Man. And it's like the movie is literally saying he can't be Iron Boy and shouldn't be Iron Boy.
well, I don't mean to call
And
people superficial when I say this, but Austin, I think it's much more surface than that. I think for a lot of people, and this is not fair, like I shouldn't speak for people, this isn't even my opinion, but the sense I get is that a lot of the folks that have lobbed that complaint at it, I don't like that he it has throughout that movie, whether he gives it up or not, a suit that Tony Stark built, and that he's got all these abilities in the suit, and that he's not just doing the street level stuff that they want to see him do. So like you're right about what the character arc and that is, and that's what I really like about it. But I think that's just not what people wanted to go and see. And then also after that, the formula of every Spider-Man movie has to have an MCU mentor character, and I think that puts people off.
yeah, no, and some of this gets more muddled after Homecoming. I agree. but it's also the most street level Spider-Man movie. Like, we spend like the first act of that film, he's in Queens. He's not even in areas where with big skyscrapers that he can swing off of. Like, it is the most down to earth Spider-Man movie. Even then,
I mean, I agree.
uh,
Yeah.
he's stopping like bike thieves and stuff. uh, like it is absolutely the most street level Spider-Man movie. And even what I like about the climax, because the climax does get a lot bigger, where they're on the plane, but it is that thing where it's, I think, two characters who are both completely out of their element, stuck in something bigger than both of them,
Yeah.
where they're on this big plane that's crashing, and it's like this very deliberate thing where Spider-Man and Vulture like can barely move on the plane, and like they have to move very slowly, and like if they move the wrong way, they can easily fall off the plane. Like, they both feel very out of their element even in that. um it's, I don't know, now I'm just ranting ranting and raving, but
I agree with you. Anyway, so Homecoming's
yeah.
great. We'll see how high it is on your list. What is your number 6? Is it
My
Homecoming?
number no, my number 6 is Winter Soldier.
Oh, wow. Okay, I did think you'd have it a little bit higher.
Yeah, I mean, we're into movies I really like.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but
So
yeah,
like
I would say Winter
we're
Soldier
not
here.
completely inverted, but it's gonna be pretty inverted. That's funny.
Yeah. What is your number 6?
My 6 is Black Panther.
Oh, okay.
Unapologetically, I know you have it a lot lower. That movie's always really spoken to me, and one of the things with Black Panther is I went into that really worried that it wouldn't live up to the hype and that people would spend a lot of money on it and love it anyway. That like people would ignore it if it was bad and still herald it as like a really important uh like uh what do you call it, just like social event, for lack of a better word. I can't think of the word I wanted to use, but anyway, and then I ended up really buying into it. Personally, I think Boseman has a crazy amount of star power in that. I know you don't feel like we do enough with Wakanda itself, and I agree with that. But what's there, I really like, and I just like that movie tonally. I just like the way it kind of wraps me up in it. I like the music in that movie a lot. That whole cast is really good. I think Killmonger's a lot more interesting than you do. But I don't know. That's always gonna be like a top 15, 20 just superhero overall movie for me, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, which is funny because I go into that movie super excited because he's my favorite thing in Civil War.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's great in that. That's so
Oh,
funny.
he's fantastic. Yeah, yeah. I think I'd forgotten that you kind of went in like more cautious.
Yeah, I was a little worried about it.
No, I went in stoked and was very, very disappointed. And I think at this point it just gets worse every time I see it.
Wow.
Um, yeah. I don't know. It's one of those things where I think T'Challa's like such an interesting character in Civil War, and then we get to his movie, and it just feels like he's just another um, MCU lead. Where like, I don't know, he just feels so much more genericified to me in that movie. I think the opening is like the best part of the movie with the trucks. We get like really cool and atmospheric with how we're shooting Black Panther, where he's like taking out those guys.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, and then we never do anything like that again. Um, so much of that movie also feels like pieced out of like other popular movies at the time, where it's like, okay, here's like the Skyfall scene where he goes to the casino, and here's uh, the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes section where like our main character dies for a little bit, and like the villain takes over, and like just so much of that movie just feels like that to me, where I'm like really taken out by it. Um, yeah, and Killmonger I think comes in like kind of too late, where he's not really a big part of the movie until an hour in, and by that point I don't think we really get to flesh him out as much as I think he should
Yeah,
be.
I've heard other people
Where
complain
it's like,
about that. I never had that with it.
Yeah, when it's this thing too where
I think the flashback at the beginning helps. Like I feel like his presence is kind of there before we get a lot of screen time for him. We're kind of building to him. That's a fair
Mhm.
complaint. It's just like everything you're saying, I get. I just never experienced it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, and I mean that's fine. I'm very much on my own on the first Black Panther. Like nobody agrees with me on that movie. Uh, but I also think because you have M'Baku at the beginning because we kind of do. It's not exactly an act, but you kind of have like we have his three main villains from the comics, and they're kind of each one is kind of a villain of an act, if you will, where we get M'Baku, coming to take the throne at the beginning. Then you have Claw through like part of the middle, and then the end, which is the longer section with Killmonger. And it's like the first two for me, I think, are such just a waste of those characters. Where like I hate MCU M'Baku. He's everything I complained about with Mole Man. Uh, where it's just we took a character who was a cool villain and made them a joke, and I don't like that character at all. When he shows up to help at the end and he becomes MCU comedy man, where they're like, "Oh, come help us," and he's like, "No, I will eat you." Ha, we're vegetarians, lol. Like all of that's awful. Like take that out of this movie. Um, it's got just like some of the worst MCU humor with things like that. Um, and then just yeah, like a lot of the CGI is awful. It's worse in the third act, and it gets really bad in the third act where they start like taking shots from other movies. Like you have the Spider-Man 3 shot where Spider-Man and Venom are falling, and we do that with both Black Panthers, and you get the scene from the first X-Men or the shot where Wolverine gets thrown and he spins around the pole with Black Panther, and they both look significantly worse in Black Panther. And it's crazy because X-Men's like 20 years before that movie came out. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't like that movie.
Yeah, I don't know. That story always really spoke to me. Like a lot of the visual trappings and stuff, I have a tendency to not notice and overlook when I'm sucked in. And
Well,
so like
and
that, all the stuff you're talking about, like you tell me about it, and then I look at it, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, that's there, I guess, but like it didn't jump out at me at all on first viewing. Even some of the dodgy CG, like I recognized it, I guess, but I didn't care about it. Like I just this doesn't make any sense. I'm sure to a lot of people, but like when a story, even with a superhero movie, is really speaking to me, it's not an action movie anymore. Like I'm not thinking about the action. I just
mm,
don't care about that stuff. Like
so
my analytical brain is running away with itself, and it ends up being all about uh, like theme and character at that point. And that's what I have with that movie, I guess. And so that's not fair, but it's just this is a favorites list. That's just what I have with that.
no, and I agree. And I definitely have movies where if I'm more into it and I like it, I am more willing to overlook that stuff. When that movie ends with like 40 minutes of people fighting and it's like it looks awful, I can't give it some of that stuff where I'm like, okay, but if you'd fleshed out some of your ideas a little bit better and your main villain, who I think I need to know a lot more about, um, like I'd be more with it. But I don't know, like especially in terms of just it as an action film, like it spends so much time on that. Like I don't know. But I do like Napita Nyong'o as the love interest. I think she's great in that movie. She's like one of the big things I really like.
Yeah.
And he's completely wasted, but Andy Serkis is fun in that as Claw.
Um. No, I get that it spends a ton of time on all that action stuff at the end, but like there's a lot of characters. It's gotta get you to the end somehow. I don't know. Like
Well, and Black Panther's also the start
and
of
also, if you're not with it as much as I am, that stuff probably runs longer to you. Because I
mhm.
don't see 40 minutes. I see like 10. Like it's not that long to me.
Yeah, Black Panther also starts their modern formula. It is the first movie that has this, where we have a ton of supporting people who all have to do something in the third act, and our hero just kind of gets lost in the shuffle. That's become more and
Oh, that's
more of an
fair.
issue,
Yeah,
and that
I've got
formula
that.
starts in Black Panther.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Mhm. But in terms of visuals, like the aesthetic stuff with Wakanda, like the costuming and stuff, is all fantastic. I don't like Black Panther's new costume he gets in like the purple glowing one.
See, I like that a lot, but I'm so
Well,
obsessed
the
with
biggest
purple.
thing is,
that
yeah, I don't like the purple power thing,
that
but
made me happy. Whatever.
they take out the like more defined texture that the Civil War suit does has, so like it just looks like too smooth, and like that gives it more of that kind of cartoon thing that we all complain about with Spider-Man. But yeah, I don't want to get us like completely lost in Black Panther. We can move on. We
Oh no,
can
that's
move
totally
on.
cool. It's just I some of it is, and this is gonna sound so stupid to people, but this is just a me thing. I have the same thing, and obviously more people like Black Panther than the thing I'm about to mention. But in its way, and I don't want to get too personal or anything, but I have the same thing with Black Panther, I guess, that I have with something like Toy Story 4, where like all the criticisms people lob at that, I get, and I share a lot of them. But there's one big thing in that movie that really spoke to me that I that like it's just a real personal thing, and I have that with Black Panther.
Mhm. No, I mean it's fair. Like, we all connect to things in different ways, right? And more people are going to agree with you, so that's okay. And if I can draw more heat to myself so that everyone will hate me, I also don't like Toy Story 3. So now everyone hates me. So you're clear, Cap. You're good.
Yeah, but I'm on an island with 4. A lot of people don't like 4.
No, but I mean I also don't like 3, so
Yeah,
I can also be on an island.
I bet other people that also don't like 3 though. You're not actually totally on your own on that.
No, I'm on an island, Cap.
Um,
What are we on? 5?
yes, we're on 5,
My 5 is Iron Man 3.
which is interesting because my 5 is Iron Man.
Oh, okay, cool.
I also monkeyed a little bit with placement for that because that felt I couldn't decide if it was too low. I I was moving around a couple like I don't know 3 movies in my top 6.
Well, Iron Man's hard. I think I said this when we did our top 100, but
Yeah,
I feel like there is an argument to be made that Iron Man is the best movie the MCU's ever made. But there's also other movies I like more. But I don't know. It feels very classic. Like rewatching it recently, um, like to me it feels like Marvel's Superman the movie, especially in structure, like in the third act,
yes,
the 3 act thing. Where the first act is this kind of more like thriller. He's kidnapped by terrorists thing. The second one is more of a slapsticky. He's putting the tech together thing, and then the third act is like the big superhero movie moment. Uh,
yeah, that's
it
totally right.
feels
And
yeah.
you're right. Both of those movies have the third act thing where now it's a superhero movie,
Mhm.
and it was
Yeah.
a like character building kind of character study piece. I more so with Iron Man as far as the character study goes, where Superman is more of an epic, and you're a little further back. Like
Yeah,
you're
they are very different.
um it's that that first Superman movie is character driven enough certainly, but it's more about like painting the picture of the man and give you certainly you get a sense of like the internal struggle, but with Iron Man it's much more of a like I said character study, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. No, and like the first Iron Man's also like pretty dark. Like I remember going to see that as a kid, and my mom's friend brought her younger son, and like they had to leave because it was too scary in the first act.
Wow,
And like that's pretty cool
that
for
was
then a
surprising
movie
to
that gets
people.
like as silly as it gets.
Yeah, no, it's neat that it manages to hit all of those like highs and lows, and you buy it all in the same world.
Yeah, and in terms of, like behind the scenes, like it's amazing that a movie like that like barely had a script and changes who the main villain is like while making it,
Yeah.
comes out as coherent as that
How does
movie
it hold
does.
together as well as it? Yeah, like that's part of the reason that I've always held it in high regard because it had no business being as good as it is. Like
Mhm.
Iron Man is. I've never had this thought before. It's a similar story as far as the way it was put together as something like the first Star Wars, which just seemed like a total mess. It was as it was being made and had no business coming together as solid as it did ultimately. It's kind of a
Mhm.
similar situation, except that Star
Well,
Wars wasn't completely improvised.
yeah, exactly. Well, you know what the biggest thing they have in common is too?
The desert,
No, well, I mean that, absolutely, but no, the fact that
war.
then it, yeah, just the fact that its sequel then takes everything that worked about one and like completely improves on it, makes it way better and like more thematically like deeper, and just
Yes, I've always said
great
Iron Man
stuff.
2 is the Empire Strikes Back of Iron Man.
It absolutely is, yeah.
But you have to wait to you have to wait till you get to 3 before you get snow.
Mhm. Well, and then the most awkward thing about Iron Man 3 is just that, Iron Man 2, of course, famously ends with Pepper Potts being taken away. So 3 has to open with them getting Pepper Potts back. And we spend like an hour getting her back, and then she does nothing for the rest of the movie. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's really
What a
strange.
weird choice.
I also don't know why she would stand there and use the implant things that Tony Stark has to bring the carbonite onto herself. Like I don't
Mhm.
I still get why you would do that.
Yeah, well, especially, she's like moving and then just like, and then she
She's
shoots
floating
off.
in midair in carbonite and then just shoots off.
Yeah, I don't know, weird choice, weird choice.
I put the first Iron Man. We'll move on now. I don't know if this is funny to anybody else. The
It's not.
it's absolutely
They're all pissed off at
there's
us.
no chance. Let's see how many viewers we've lost.
All of them.
No,
And all the
shockingly,
subscribers.
only 2. Anyway, so
The only two people with the remaining brain cells after hearing that nonsense.
yeah, the other 29 people that are watching right now aren't actually watching. They just left us on as they drifted off to sleep.
As they're doing their dishes, yeah.
So I hold the first Iron Man up as one of the great, of course, superhero movie origins. That's one of the big exceptions that proves the rules. We're very often, I've said this 100,000 times. I feel like superhero movie origins end up being obligatory and follow the same kind of formula and are just an excuse to get the ball rolling, but we have to sit around for 2 hours and watch that excuse when you could be telling a real story. Iron Man tells a real story through its origin, and in that way it appeals to more people because it's not just about making the superhero stuff happen. It's a movie that that isn't in another genre also, and a lot of the best superhero movies, especially origins, have that. And so it's right up there with Batman Begins in like great superhero movie origins. Donner Superman is up there too, like you said. I don't know, are those the top 3 at this point? They probably are
For
for
Origins?
origins. Can you think of
Um,
anything else that I mean, like if you want to put any team movies in there, I would put Guardians in there too. But I'm thinking more singular origins for superheroes. I'm trying to think of other really good ones. Like Doctor Strange is okay, but it's similar
yeah, I
enough to
feel like
Iron
that
Man. I
and
can't put it
Spider-Man
with
are
it.
just kind of on like the B tier of that, where it's like I
Yeah,
have issues with both those movies. They're not like fantastic. I mean, I got issues with Begins too, but like that's fair in putting it in like the top three. That's
yeah,
fine.
absolutely.
But yeah, um, no, that's fine.
But
Well, I
that's
think
but that's one of the things I love about that movie.
yeah. Well, because I think with Marvel Origins. the best ones are like Twilight Zone episodes. I think Spider-Man has that. I think Iron Man has that.
That's
Hulk
interesting.
has that. Um, so like I feel like they are easier ones to make origin stories out of, as opposed to something like a X-Men or like, I don't know, Fantastic
Fantastic
Four,
Four.
where like
Yeah.
it feels more like we're just trying to get the ball rolling. And I mean, you can make a good story out of Fantastic Four origin. Let's not say you can never do that, but like I feel like those are so strong just as stories themselves. Um, like you can read all three of, maybe to a lesser degree, Hulk. Or, you know what? I'll say all three of those ones. And they're just like really great stories on their own if they never got an issue too.
Yeah. Well, and that's how I always felt about Batman Begins too, which was shocking because that's not a character I ever needed a movie origin for, which is part of the reason I love that movie as much as I do.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. But it's like, with Iron Man, we took, okay, your Twilight Zone premises, you have arms dealer who sells arms, and he gets kidnapped and has to turn himself into a big arm, and
Right.
survive through that. And in that original story, it kind of implies that he's stuck in the suit. Obviously, we didn't move forward with that, but like he still has an element of that with the chest.
Yeah.
In the comics, it's like a full chest piece, but you still get it in the movie with the arc reactor. And it's like they took that as your core idea and went, that's a really great idea. Like that's easily something you can make a movie out of, and they do a really great job of that.
Yeah, well, and of course, I've always loved the heart motif thing, and the arc reactor visualizes that really nicely, like in just making it in the chest and doing the
Mhm.
palladium thing, where he's now found his heart, and that is ironically the thing that is killing him. That's wonderful. And then
Because Iron Man
obviously,
2 is Empire Strikes Back, of course.
and obviously, that's just always been a real quotable movie.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like each act I think is cool for its own reason.
Mm,
Where I think they do a good job of what each act is trying to do. Where that first act is very suspenseful and very thrilling, and uh, it's such an impactful moment when he finally gets the suit working in the cave, and it's so brutal with like the flamethrowers. Like it's very visceral.
yeah, sure.
Um, and then you almost get a return to that later on because you get so slapsticky and silly. And then when he first lands down in the Middle East in his, main suit for the movie, it like really shifts, and becomes like goes back to that intensity. And then the third act is just very comic booky and fun.
Yeah, and is in certain ways the weakest act where like you want it to get to that place but it does in some ways feel like it kind of degenerates into superhero formula. But these days I go kind of back and forth on that whole thing where I'm like,
I think for me, it works just in that Obadiah Stane is very like backed up against the wall, and it
yeah,
is that the trapped animal is more dangerous because you don't. It's unpredictable. So like I think it works in that way that he just becomes like a comic book villain and puts the suit on and fights Iron Man, and then that like their fight is so silly where they're like throwing each other into like cars, and there's like the bit where he grabs the motorcycle as it's driving by and slaps him with it. Like all that's so fun too.
no, it absolutely is. uh
Mhm.
and I think works better on multiple viewings because the first time you see it you're like, I just didn't feel like it was this kind of movie, and now suddenly it's this kind of movie.
Yeah, it's great.
The two moments in that movie that stick with me that other people probably don't think about that much, just like obscure bits that that live in my brain, Austin, are I want an American cheeseburger. I don't know why, I just love that line read. And then the way Obadiah Stane in the office with Pepper Potts as he's walking out and gets the newspaper says puzzle.
Yeah, for sure.
That just, I don't know
I
if you have
also
it. That's always stuck with me. Like
yeah.
the way he hits the P with that
Mhm.
word, I'll never forget. Puzzle.
I also love his voice when he becomes Ironmonger. But like that's part of what makes it feel like he's become a cartoon villain.
Oh yeah.
Is that he's like a regular person, and then he puts the suit on, and he's like, "You've upgraded your armor."
Yeah, it's the way it amplifies it, and he's obviously speaking very differently now, and he just goes. Rawr! And I've played the Iron Man pinball machine a lot now, and I've heard that that growl like 100,000 times now, because every time you get Ironmonger in that where he comes up from the ground and then you shoot balls at him and just go Rawr! Like every single time. That game's great too because it does a lot of stuff with magnets. So like you shoot the balls up into Ironmonger, and then he like magnetizes them and grabs them and then flips them around and then shoots them back at you. It's super cool.
Yeah, that is cool. My favorite Ironmonger suit thing is when he goes to kill Pepper Potts, and he's standing right in front of her, and instead of hitting her, he just raises his arm, and his Gatling gun starts spinning, and it's like a full minute before it starts shooting. It's so impractical. It's hilarious.
Well, there's a reason he didn't lead with that.
Yeah. Oh, and then Ren Davis mentions it too, like just how slow his takeoff is when he starts flying. It's that kind of a thing where we're visually showing that his tech isn't as good as Tony's, but it's also just very amusing.
That's pretty funny. Okay, where are we at? Number 4?
That was okay. Yeah, my number 4 is Homecoming.
Number 4, you've upgraded your armor.
You've upgraded your armor.
Impressive. I want somebody to make a video that goes back and forth between Ironmonger's doesn't he say that? Does he say impressive first?
I think so. Yes, he does. Yeah.
Okay, I want somebody to make a video that goes back and forth between his impressive and fake Ra's al Ghul's impressive in Batman Begins. They're impressive and then impressive. I want somebody to make that.
I also love when Ironmonger. Oh, what is the exact line? It's where he's like, "You've given the world your last weapon, and I'm gonna kill you with it."
I'm gonna kill you with it. See. Your impression of that makes it sound more like the Edgar suit from Men in Black.
That's the Ironmonger suit. Yeah, it's the Edgar suit.
It's the Edgar suit.
The Iron Edgar suit. Absolutely.
Okay, so you said your number 4 was
Homecoming.
Homecoming. Okay. Wow, that's pretty high. That's cool.
Exactly. Oh, that's true. And Nicholas Bodo says, "What about Green Goblins?" Impressive.
Oh yeah, throw that in there too. See how many impressives we can find for villains in superhero movies, and then just make a video where we just cut back and forth between them all. Impressive. Impressive.
I think Green Goblin might have the best one.
Impressive.
Fantastic.
No one says no to me. Impressive. And
like he's responding to that statement.
Yes. No, I'm kind of surprised you have Homecoming that high because that movie's great. Like,
oh, I love Homecoming. Yeah.
I had it a little lower, but I didn't realize you liked that quite that
much.
And I love that movie, so I'm just saying I think it's super cool that you did that. My 4 is the first Guardians, and again, a lot of that is the just personal experience I had with that. So like, I think 3 and even 2 are probably technically better movies just because like they're in the way that they're further in character arcs. They're obviously more complex and taking things farther, and have better villains, both of them, by like a mile. Like, of course. But I just really like Peter Quill's arc in that first movie.
Oh, it's great.
That's a lot.
I mean, because I think Guardians 1 is Gunn's weakest movie. Maybe like once he starts getting into like mainstream superhero stuff. But that doesn't mean it's bad. Like I mean, it's my number 7, so clearly I don't think it's bad. But it is very much just the setup movie for me. Like I love all that stuff with Peter Quill and his mom. All that stuff is great. It really elevates it. But that movie walks so that the other two can run for me.
Yeah.
And I think just visually it doesn't look as good as the sequels, just with how dark it is.
But you also have to give it credit. Obviously, this goes without saying for conceptualizing and realizing all of those characters the way that it does.
For sure. No, that's in like another place where I think it's just kind of walking for them to run, where we're getting bits of each of those characters outside of Quill, and then the sequels will run with them. Where it's like, now I get more of, say, like Rocket, so like in that way, like it's like, yeah, it is cool in the first movie, and I'm glad that it set it up properly. Like it is a very good setup.
Well, I think part of what's impressive. Part of what's impressive.
Impressive.
Part of what's impressive about you've upgraded your armor about that movie for me is all of the ways that it's kind of subverting what MCU is doing right then. And that's always really stuck with me. Where in the theater, that was such a fresh, new experience. I loved how disconnected it was from the rest of that. It was a big deal to me to finally get to space and to finally start doing some of that cosmic stuff. And that Gunn took it, even in that first movie, as far as he did, where you get like the giant nowhere head and all of that. And
yeah, like the Nova Corps and
yeah,
all that stuff. The Kree.
And then just impressive how see we can't even say this word now. How he manages to take a thing that nobody had heard of and make it this giant powerhouse of a property, which that first movie does all by itself. And so of course 2 and 3 do really well too. But like that was a juggernaut of a property right at the start.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't. That's not so much about the quality of the movie as a movie. Like, I'm not saying it deserves the 4th spot because it was popular. I'm saying that it deserved to be that popular.
Mm. Yeah, no, I agree, and I think, like the magic is that I think it really works as a trilogy, and like all 3 of those movies, I think really complement each other. And like they will, I think, just continue to just grow in my mind for just how much I like them.
I will say I'm weird. Guardians is as good of a trilogy as that is, and obviously it's sticky because you've got the Avengers movies in the middle of it. But as good as that trilogy, I'm sure watches all together. I've never done that. It's not. One, and we haven't had 3 for all that long, to be fair, but it's not one that I feel the need to watch all of every time I watch one. Like, 1 is actually a movie I can watch by itself. And there's a lot of
I have that with all 3.
There's a lot of trilogies I really like that every time I watch one, like I want to watch the rest of them. Like a lot of people, of course, have this with Star Wars, and then I'm thinking about this with MCU in general, and I think I have that with all of them. Like, there's not really a franchise in MCU where I want to watch them isolated as a franchise. Where like I gotta watch the Cap movies, I gotta watch the Iron Man movies. Like, none of them have that.
Yeah. No, I think it works really well as a trilogy, just in the sense that we get more and more details and like flesh out these characters more and more, and it like really makes all of it like so much more like impactful. But also at the same time, you said all 3 of them you can watch completely on their own. Like one of the coolest things now that we have all 3 is that one of the first lines in that movie is Peter Quill is like a 10-year-old going to see his mom, and he's got the black eye, and she says, you get beat up like by the other boys at school, and he's like, yeah, they were hurting like a small animal and I stepped in. And it's like that's where we start, and we get by the end, like cool. I don't know, it's fantastic stuff.
That's a good point. Something I failed to mention about Guardians 2 when we were there that I should say is, despite that I have that lower than the other two, it is the only MCU movie that makes me tear up every time at the end. And I think I still probably have that with it, although it's been a while since I've seen it. But it's pretty crazy, and I had this Pavlovian effect with that song with Father and Son for a while after that movie, where I would even have that reaction if I heard that, which is pretty crazy, like on its own.
Yeah, well, I would say I'm gonna one up you. I tear up every time I see all three Guardians movies and the Suicide Squad. Where like there is something in each of those movies that like gives me that reaction. I have it, with the mom at the end of the first one, and yeah, like absolutely with Yondu's death in two. I don't know, it's very strong, like in terms of balancing that comedy and emotional, the character development.
Yeah, it's just that song drop with that funeral scene. I don't know what it is.
Hmm.
It
Oh,
just
it hits so
always
hard.
does that to me. I
And
don't know.
the little Groot like sitting on his lap while he puts it on. It's beautiful.
Okay, anyway, so that was Guardians of the Galaxy. So we're in the top
That
three
was
finally.
Yeah.
What is your number three?
My number three is Iron Man.
Cool. So you had it at three. I had it at five. So not totally
Yep.
inverted.
No, no.
Although it would be impossible to exactly invert that because five's in the middle. So like, where would it
But
have to go?
your number three is Infinity War.
It is. My three is Infinity War. I find Infinity War, like I said
I'm
earlier.
pretty sure I know exactly what your top three is.
Yeah, I'm
but,
sure you
yeah,
do. I'm sure
go
you
for
do.
it. Go for it.
I find that to be one of the most rewatchable movies in the MCU, and not that I've gone back to it a ton, but every time I do, I have a really similar kind of feeling that I did in the theater. Like it doesn't really wear off. That's like that still feels like a big event to me in a way that Endgame I wish did, and that just feels like you can only have that experience with it the one time. In Infinity War is still that big, like I'm looking at a graphic novel on the screen, and I love that feeling with it.
But specifically, like it feels like reading a comic event.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, especially it walks such a tight rope, right? Where there is 8,000 characters in that movie, and they all have like a little bit of screen time, and I think they balance it all like pretty well, like,
Yeah.
as well as you ever could. So we're kind of popping in, and like that's where it really feels like an event, where it's like here's 2 minutes with Wanda, here's 5 minutes with Iron Man and them, here's 4 minutes with Thor and the Guardians, and like we're constantly bouncing around, and it's so like crazy how that's all put together and like all comes together cohesively.
Well, and you had to wait that long before you could make a thing like that because a lot of characters can't get too much screen time, but you know them so well that, like a good Marvel event, they'll have like those couple of panels and they'll feel very much like their characters, and you'll be like, yeah, that's that guy, that's what he would say in that scene, and then you just move on. I love that in a movie that huge with that many characters, we still had enough time for Wong to say, I wouldn't say no to a tuna melt. I've just always appreciated that moment.
I don't know why, especially in like the last month, the part after that where he goes, about $1.50. That like rings
Yeah,
through my head, and I don't know why.
fortify your.
4 to 5, $1.50. uh,
And I know we've talked about this before, and this is a major talking point in the fan community, but it's the best Thor has ever been.
yeah,
And it's so
absolutely.
weird right after Ragnarok that he's
It's the
suddenly
most he ever feels like a god.
it's suddenly not only a vast improvement from Ragnarok and what he should have felt like as Asgard was being destroyed, but also what he always should have been from the beginning.
Mhm.
Like, it's just the
Yeah.
absolute best Thor. And then he turns back around and he's kind of Ragnarok Thor again in Endgame, which is also kind of a hit for Endgame.
Yeah.
But I love him there, and that's great. And
Oh, he's great. He and Rocket make such a good pairing, and that is not a duo I would think would work.
no, that's what's fun with
Like,
both of those movies is, like I said, weird pairings.
yeah. Also, because you always make fun of in Endgame where we do the like all the girls scene. And,
Yeah.
what is Mantis gonna do?
What's
in that
Mantis
scene,
gonna
right?
do?
I laugh every time when Thor pops into Wakanda and Rocket and Groot are just running behind him as he jumps and like takes out an entire army in one hit. Like, what are Rocket and Groot gonna do? Like, yeah.
The Guardians introduction in that movie is pretty fun.
Yeah. I don't love like everything we do with the Guardians in those movies, but like I like them more in Infinity War, and they get some good stuff. Zoe Saldana really gets to shine too.
Yeah.
Yeah. The best thing though, to like really look for when you're watching that movie, because obviously we have 8,000 actors, and it is impossible to have them all there at the same time.
Yeah.
The funniest thing to like really look for when you watch that movie is how obvious it is that Benedict Cumberbatch couldn't film with a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's just like how often he is just in a frame by himself.
You can particularly,
like, to the side.
I was going to say, you can particularly tell that when he's doing the whole now famous like one future where we win bit where he's talking to Iron Man like off screen.
Well, it's like, the rest of the characters in that scene are here, and then we come back and it's just Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
true.
same with when he gets kidnapped by Ebony Maw. Like, we take him away for a little bit too, and then
I never even thought about it, but you're so right. That's really funny.
It's really funny to watch for when you know it.
And real quick, despite my resistance to the way Thanos is reinvented in that, like obviously Brolin's great and plenty of screen presence, and he looks good.
Yeah,
like that's a
the
CG
effects
character
are very impressive.
that really works. And I like how much presence he has. That's a thrilling opening scene with him and Hulk and all of that. Like it's a really strong opening all the way through. Like that the cold open is great, and then the big fight with Iron Man and Doctor Strange and their first meeting is exciting, and also there's some real classic kind of Marvel Comics banter in that scene. I think like I've always resisted Iron Man and Doctor Strange butting heads as hard as they do, because that sort of feels that always felt a little manufactured to me. But I like the spirit of it. I like it in theory. I just always felt like it was a little bit contrived, where it's like where it's what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, because you have the magic guy and the tech guy, and they don't get along, and they see things from very different perspectives.
Yeah.
You feel like it's kind of forced to like have more of that, I guess.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, sorry, it's getting late. Is that
You're okay. We're almost done.
It's more like you're right in that's where it naturally comes from. But it feels like it's acknowledging too much the fact that they both come from the same mold. Like I was talking about earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
I always really saw that in it, where it was like, well, Doctor Strange is basically what Iron Man's basically what Doctor Strange was supposed to be. So they can't like each other because they're supposed to be the same character.
Well, at least we can thank God that we didn't get the fan joke that people really wanted, where one of them says no Sherlock to the other because they both played Sherlock Holmes. Thankfully that didn't happen.
Oh my God.
if you were to have them, and I mean we do, like you just said, as kind of rivalry in that way. You know what the most unfortunate thing is, Cap?
What's that?
Is that Doctor Strange can't have spoken incantations because that's like immediately like a moment between the two of them that they could have had,
Yeah,
where Tony can be like, "Why are you like constantly announcing what you're doing?"
yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah, yeah.
Nicholas Bodo says Thanos is a great foil for Tony too. That's a good point.
Mhm.
The supposed ends justifies the means thing, because that's kind of what Tony is trying to do when he gets with the government and does everything in Civil War. So like that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Infinity War is just it's a good time all around.
It is. In some ways, it's their most fun movie.
Yeah, in some ways, yeah.
In some ways.
Mhm.
What is your? Where are we at?
Number two.
Your number two. Okay, go ahead.
My number two is Guardians 3.
Oh wow! So you did put two Guardians movies right up against each other.
I
Crazy.
don't know. I don't know how to rank them off each other. Like I like both of them for different reasons.
Yeah.
So it's yeah.
Why should two was always at the top? I kind of thought Guardians 3 would be like 3 or 4, and you'd have some other movie sandwich in between.
No, I mean I could have, but nah, this is my list.
Well, my number two is a movie that you and I did not too long ago on the commentary project, if memory
Of course,
serves.
it
And you'll
is
know what it
Civil
is.
War.
Civil War. Yeah, I fought a bit about Infinity War and Civil War. It was always going to be a war movie, I guess.
I've also gone back and forth where there was a time where I liked Infinity War more than Civil War, but I think, well, I mean, I put it above this time, but I think now at this point, I like Civil War more than Infinity War. But uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Civil
Uh,
War is really good.
yeah, we just talked about it.
Yeah, we just did it.
But I don't know, like why do you think it belongs above Infinity War?
Honestly, part of it's Endgame. Like part of it is just
It
that
does stand
uh,
alone, at least. It is its own.
Civil War stands alone.
No,
Infinity War
I mean
does
Civil
pretty.
War. I mean Civil War stands on its own, and so you don't have a.
Oh, did I must have
That's what you
misspoken.
said. Yeah, but anyway, it's fine.
Okay.
I got you.
Yeah, yeah. No, Civil War stands on its own, and then Infinity War does in a sense, but also like it is a little hurt by Endgame at this point, I think. But yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because those guys did all three of those,
Mm.
and
And
it's
are doing more.
yeah, and it's kind of odd that that we like their first big event put all the characters together movie better than the other two, and like both Civil War and Infinity War are impressive for the way they juggle characters, of course, and like Infinity War has more characters to juggle. But the big difference, I guess, is you're talking about like the kind of pseudo cameo thing with Infinity War. With Civil War, it's juggling that like a smaller number of characters, but still giant cast where they all get quite a bit to do.
Yeah. No, I think Civil War is probably just a tighter story.
Yeah, it
While
is.
Infinity War is that event thing, and like part of what we like about it is that it's a little bit looser and has that element to it. But Civil War, I think, just as a movie, works a little bit better.
It's probably a more compelling and thought provoking story.
Mhm.
Is part of it for me, and it's more
Yeah,
challenging in a lot of ways, and it's also like building really nicely off of Winter Soldier, and
yeah, and I
is
think
about
it.
a lot of those same things thematically. Infinity War kind of pivots and is about some other things, which
Yeah,
makes sense
yeah,
because
absolutely.
it's much more cosmic. And I also think those guys are a lot better at street level than they are big cosmic bombastic comic book stuff. And one of my big complaints with Infinity War, which we didn't talk about a minute ago, is that kind of like with Doctor Strange, it could have and I think should have gone weirder. And they know how to do the spy thriller espionage stuff really well. And so they take Winter Soldier and they broaden it to bigger cast, and it's more comic booky in that they're doing a lot more superpower stuff, and they've got, you know, a big like team movie and superheroes fighting each other and all of that. But it doesn't go to the big cosmic space stuff. They're just not as good at that.
Yeah, and I think the end fight between Cap and Iron Man might be the best thing that the Russos have ever directed in the MCU. It's really strong, just like really impactful, and like you really feel just the weight of these two people clashing.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, one of the things that I latch on to most with the first Avengers movie, not the first Avenger, but the original Avengers movie, is that dynamic with, and the comparison contrast with the worldviews with Tony Stark and Steve Rogers, and Civil War takes that, you know, to its ultimate conclusion, really puts them to the head. You've been kind of waiting for that for several years when you finally get there with that. And despite the reservations we talked about that I had in the commentary with how Tony responds to Cap telling him that Winter Soldier killed his parents, the way they deal with you know, the two sides of that is really good. And I've always loved just the symbolism of like what happens with the shield at the end of that, and
the arc reactor, and
and like him not taking it with him, and like that's all just wonderful.
Yeah, he breaks Tony's heart.
Well,
it works on two different ways, because it has both that, and you can see, you know, both of these characters kind of crumble. Or you could just have fun and watch two men on steroids beat the crap out of a man with a heart disease. So, you know, it really works on two different ways.
Okay, well, our number ones are obligatory at this point.
Okay, so here, I got this. Okay, so my number one is Guardians 2, and then your number one... Oh, wait! Oh, it's Iron Man 2.
It's not Iron Man 2.
Oh, of course. So yeah, Iron Man 2 is just a really good movie.
You know, Empire Strikes Back is almost as good as Iron Man 2.
I mean, eat your heart out, Empire Strikes Back. Your movie doesn't even have a bird in it. Iron Man 2 has at least two birds, because that one bird was not his bird, but he accepted it anyways. Which really shows that we can all find the love for things that we don't appreciate at first as we grow and, you know, get to appreciate it for what it is, as opposed to what you expect.
You remember the part at the beginning? That was a wonderful speech. It brought a tear to my eye. Do you remember that part at the beginning of Empire Strikes Back for Han Solo? It's like, he's like next to the Tauntaun. He's like, how's he going to get his head in that? Like I said.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, no, I love that part. And then he's like, Luke, put your head in that Tauntaun. And he's like, I can't.
How's it gonna? I can't. How can you get your head in that?
Exactly.
And then he's like, give me my bird. And you're like, we're freezing out here. What the hell are you talking about?
No, it's like one of my favorite things in Star Wars. The first one being in the original Star Wars, when Darth Vader meets Obi-Wan after like years, you know, of having not seen each other, and Darth Vader's like, Kenobi, I see you've upgraded your armor.
That's the best part.
I love that part, and then he just kills him.
Let's see how many viewers we lost this time. Just one. So,
Darth, you forgot about the icing problem.
Why is he Ringo Starr?
It's better. Obi-Wan would be better if he was Ringo Starr.
So anyway, we're derailing. Let's talk for just real briefly about Winter Soldier. So I've done I've said my piece about that movie. I did a deep dive years ago, scripted, analyzing the crap out of story characters, themes with that movie. But what that has to say, well, first of all, it's just a really visceral theatrical movie. I I was really surprised in the theater by how thrilling and suspenseful that thing gets. It's like it gets more serious and somber than you thought those movies could go, and I like the levity in that movie. I but it just for a Marvel movie especially, it just feels like really impactful and hard hitting as a spy thriller, as an espionage thing.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think for me, like I like it more as just like an action thriller. But it's very thrilling. It's very fun. It is the movie where Captain America becomes cool. Uh, Not that he's not cool in First Avenger, but like it is like a different kind. Like Winter Soldier is when we go, okay, here is how his shield should work in live action, and it's like it like launches off into the stratosphere,
Yeah.
and it's fantastic.
I felt like what it has to say about freedom versus security was just like really important and impactful right then, and that spoke to me a lot. And then I liked how the MCU in general kept running with that idea and kind of building on it. But and I guess it did the best with that with Civil War, past it. And then of course the Hydra reveal is one of the coolest, most shocking things that happens in a superhero movie. Uh,
Mm.
Getting rid of Shield that early was overall kind of a mistake, but it works great for that movie.
Hmm.
It
Yeah, and
was
not killing Nick Fury as well.
yeah, it was way too
Right.
early to do that. No, Nick Fury probably should have died in that. I do like his arc quite a bit. Like
Hmm.
I like where he's left by the end of that movie, but then we never do anything that I like with him ever again.
Yeah, no, and that the moment where he pulls off the eye patch is so cool too.
Yeah.
I agree with Ren Davis. He says that the reason why you're lying and Winter Soldier is your number one is because it expands on the pivotal character from Iron Man 2
Oh
of
yeah.
Senator Stern. So
Yeah, the
this
guy
is like your wink, wink. Like it's really Iron Man 2, guys, but I gotta pretend.
I love that they're like, "Oh, he called Tony Stark a prick, so he must be Hydra."
Well, he also said "F you, buddy," like
Oh
on
yeah,
TV, and he's a
that's
senator.
true. F you, buddy.
Oh no, I don't even think it's. I think he says "Go F yourself."
No, he's no.
Actually,
You're right the first time. You're
is
right.
it? Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
What might be "Go F yourself, buddy"? It is definitely "buddy" at the end of whatever it is, but whatever. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, but no, that's cool. The elevator fight is
Oh, that's neat. Yeah.
very cool.
And I just love taking Steve Rogers that quickly from man at a time. The world isn't what he knew. The values are different, or in his mind, maybe non-existent. And he's kind of clinging in Avengers to what he knew, is trusting the government too much, then realizes that the government caused the Tesseract problem in the first place, then goes all the way to, in this, being on the run from the government, and it's like his greatest nightmare.
Hmm.
That's fantastic to do in a sequel. Like, I think one of the reasons I love Winter Soldier so much is it's one of the best examples of a sequel that doesn't have any degree of sequelitis whatsoever. That both stands really well on its own, but is also almost a totally different genre. And that's appropriate for it in continuing that story. So it doesn't feel like suddenly we're doing a completely different thing for no reason. It's it's like continuing his story in a different genre because that's just naturally where it goes.
Yeah, no, like it should have that. going from First Avenger to Winter Soldier. That is just correct.
It's great. And then Civil War has that a little bit less so, because I would argue that it stays more in the Winter Soldier mode than the first Avenger mode. Like, it doesn't go to then a
Yeah.
third genre exactly. Like, it's more of a political thriller, I guess, than two is. Or than Winter Soldier is, I suppose. But like tonally, they've got a lot in common because it is the same director and because Bucky is an integral, linchpin in both of them.
But I also think it like shouldn't be a complete switch in genre like those
Yeah,
two.
you're absolutely
Yeah.
right.
Like I do think it works better that 2 and 3 are of a piece now that we're in modern day, and then World War II 1 is different. If all three of them were different, it would have been weird because you'd go, okay, but we don't have a change in Captain America like we do between 1 and 2, so it's maybe a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
But not that you couldn't do it, but like
You take him to the future.
there you go.
Like
Now we're talking.
3 is Captain America 2099.
That's where we do the multiverse stuff. That's where we started, is in Captain America 3, and he just goes to a different world entirely.
Oh, sure.
He goes to the rom-com universe, and it's just a rom-com.
And I've said this before, but part of my love for Winter Soldier is also that I'm not the biggest fan of spy thrillers in that genre, and I really won me over on all of that. Like, it made me more interested in those kinds of movies, I guess. And so I'm almost more impressed sometimes with things that aren't in my wheelhouse that I end up kind of falling in love with, like despite the fact that that's not typically my thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, things that really fall into a genre or a type of movie you like, and then you like those movies are cool, but when they take something that you don't like, or at least aren't super interested in, and make it one of your favorite things,
Yeah.
it's especially special.
And I know that for years and years I've put Winter Soldier at the very top. And just nothing has dethroned it for me yet. And I haven't and to be fair, I haven't seen it in quite a while, but like I've never had a bad rewatch of that. Like, it doesn't get worse. It doesn't like, it holds up and feels like the same movie that it was, certainly, despite anything else that's come out after it. And actually probably looks even a little bit better compared to a couple of wannabe spy or political thrillers they've attempted since then. But with right. But
Yeah, I mean, I've seen all their filmography post their Marvel stuff.
but when I saw that movie in the theater, I was like, I liked it, but I didn't think it would be like at the top of the list. And then the more I saw it, the more I was wrapped up in it.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Also, because we did this with Iron Man,
Yeah.
rent-free villain moment
Yeah.
is 100% Robert Redford sitting in his kitchen. Bucky's, suddenly appears sitting there, and Robert Redford just turns and goes, "Do you want some milk?" I love that bit.
That was so weird.
And then he just doesn't answer, and then he just pours himself a glass of milk, and then just drinks it, and then shoots his maid. Beautiful stuff.
I will say, based on Falcon's recommendation on that movie, I have gone back and listened to the Trouble Man soundtrack. It's wonderful if you like that kind of music. And I've never watched that movie, but when I did the scripted review, I went and read a plot synopsis of that movie to see if it had any connections to Winter Soldier, to see if it seemed like they were building on that idea wise at all, and they indeed were. And it's been a while, so I don't remember what exactly is in it. But I should watch that movie at some point because they have clear parallels, and like they didn't pull that name out of a hat. Like, they were thinking about that when they wrote that script, which is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is cool.
Angel
I
Castaneda
also
wants to know if we've done a similar ranking with the X-Men movies. We never ranked the X-Men movies.
no, that would be like really easy to do.
There are a lot
Really
fewer
short.
of them. Yeah, we
Yeah.
could definitely do that in one.
Yeah, exactly. There's what, probably like 13 movies,
Are
something
we
like that.
are we counting the Deadpools?
Oh, I was counting all the spin-offs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Then
something
it's
like that.
something like that. It's like, well, you've got the initial trilogy, and then you have Origins, and then you have
Yeah, there's 7 main X-Men movies,
First
and
Class
then
and Days of Future Past, and yeah, so that's, you're right. That's
and then
7.
3
Dark
Deadpools.
Phoenix, 3
So that's
Deadpools.
10, and then New Mutants. There's 11.
No, there's just 11.
Yeah, so that wouldn't be hard to do.
Yeah, I don't know if that's even a whole video.
Yeah, we could just do Fox movies and include Daredevil and FF,
Oh, that's true.
or just
That's
non-MCU if you want to like really expand it.
Oh yeah, that'd
Then
be
it's
fun
like
too.
2
I
parts.
was gonna say, if it's just Fox, I don't think that's fair to the Fantastic Four movies. We all know where those show up. Like, our list would look very similar with that,
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
because those would be pretty far down.
Exactly.
That starts to get a little bit difficult to me with things like Apocalypse, just like movies that piss me off versus movies that are just stupid.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I don't know,
Uh, yeah. What can you do?
but that's not a bad idea
Yeah.
to do something with that. I kind of like your idea of just doing like all non MCU. It's like every Marvel movie that's not MCU. We'd have to decide how obscure we're going with that. It's like, do we rank Man Thing? Do we
Oh,
rank
I wasn't even thinking about that
like
stuff. Yeah.
1990 Captain America? Like, or
I was literally just thinking those main Fox movies and like the kind of main Sony movies with Spider-Man. Not even Ghost Rider. But you're right. No, there's like a ton. Never mind. That's a
like
dumb idea.
Blade?
Ah, there's so many.
Yeah. No, there's a weird number. We could probably get it close to the MCU number. I bet. Maybe there's not 37. There's probably at least 25.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. There's a bunch.
And then you're ranking
Also
Howard the Duck
with-
again.
Also with Winter Soldier, that actually does have a Empire Strikes Back thing.
It does.
Because all Phase 2 movies have the same Empire Strikes Back thing, which is a character loses their hand.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's like apparently an intentional choice that they made where they were like
I
to
didn't know
parallel.
that. Never thought about that.
Yes. So in Iron Man 3, Tony cuts off what's his face, the Mandarin's hand at the end. Bucky, obviously, in Winter Soldier. Gamora cuts off Groot's arms in Guardians. Oh, I think Age of Ultron's next. Ultron cuts off Claw's hand. And then Ant-Man, when he kills Yellow Jacket, the first thing that goes is his hand blows off.
That's interesting. I never even thought about that. That's funny.
Yeah. They should have put Jabba in all Phase 3 movies, but they didn't.
Yeah, I guess they would have already had they gotten the Star Wars license finalized by then?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they would have had it right as Phase 2 started, because it would have been 2013.
Do you think that's why they
and
did
that's-
it?
No, I think Kevin Feige just said that like he was a Star Wars fan, and it was just like an intentional Easter egg.
Just a fun thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not obnoxiously noticeable. Like, I never thought about it.
Oh, Angel Castaneda. I forgot Thor: The Dark World. Yeah, I guess Malekith does lose his arm, but like the more obvious one is Loki cuts off Thor's hand in that illusion.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hmm.
No, I knew Feige was a big Star Wars fan, but I just thought maybe he thought to do that because they got the license.
Hmm.
It was like, in celebration of this, we'll cut off everybody's hands. I don't know.
No, Kevin Feige really hates hands.
He cut off his own hand on purpose. It was really strange. Everybody was like, why would you do that?
Well, especially because it was at like a premiere for a movie. They're like, "Stop, dude! We're trying to watch a movie," and
And
he's
there's
like,
blood
"Oh,
everywhere.
look at it!"
My God, it's really messed up. Impressive. Anyway,
Impressive! You've upgraded your cut.
okay, we're gonna get going. Everybody, thanks a lot for watching. Austin and I are gonna be back with another list video. This won't be a ranking, but we're gonna finally do. We've talked about this for months. We're gonna finally come back in. I'm not sure when exactly it's gonna happen. I don't know if we'll get it done before Spooky Mania or not. It might be November, but we'll get back with you soon and let you know what we're doing. But we're gonna do our top 50 worst superhero movies of all time. We did the top 100. We're gonna be merciful and not do a whole 100 bad superhero movies. We're gonna do 50. And we're also gonna open up a list soon for you guys to do your own, and we'll do that as a separate video as well because we like to milk these things for all they're worth.
Exactly. We
So-
love milking everything
You want
because
some-
we
you
love
want some
because we
milk?
love because we love Winter Soldiers. Why we milk it? You want some milk? Here you go.
I'm excited about doing that, Austin, and seeing what the community list ends up looking like. And
Yeah,
I'll reach out to that Connor guy again and see if I can get him to.
I think he
make a
already
video.
did.
Oh wow, really?
I think he sent it to me after we did. Was it the top 100? Yeah, the top 100. I think he did do that, but I'll have to look again.
Okay, cool.
And that was Kando Tour.
But we'll do
was the one who made that.
Okay, yeah, but we'll do a slideshow and.
Yeah, my famous slideshow
good stuff.
skills.
I haven't even got started on my list yet. I got to do that soon.
Oh, and I finally just made mine. But there's a
Cool.
bunch I also haven't seen, so I should maybe look at a few things.
Watch a few more. Yeah.
Watch like Green Lantern and Catwoman.
Yeah,
Rewatch Jonah Hex.
I don't know if I'm gonna do any extra homework for it. If I'm gonna watch anything I haven't seen in a long time, or if I'm just gonna go from memory. But because there's at least 3 or 4 things that I did on Rewind like a million years ago that I know I hate, but I have not seen since then.
Yeah, and I also didn't include any straight to DVD animated movies. Not that like you can't, but like just I don't feel strongly enough about them.
Well,
So, like,
that's good to know. I may avoid them because of that. There's plenty to pick from.
no, definitely pick them if they're bad. Like I just don't feel strongly enough about the bad ones. So it's like I'm not gonna think about them immediately.
Well, that's fair. And I've seen more of that stuff than you, and I've like rewatched more of those than you have, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. So like obviously don't shy away from putting on Batman and Harley Quinn. But
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
yeah, so that'll be the next one.
We'll see what I decide pissed me off the most.
And you know what really pisses me off?
It's like, wow, you made a whole top 50 list without any direct-to-video animated movies. Impressive!
Impressive!
Well, it's a thing now.
Spun your last web, Spider-Man. MJ and I are gonna...
Okay, we're gonna get going. Thanks for watching, everybody. I was Captain Logan. This is Austin, the Day Ghost.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, folks.